Hey, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to Space Chick Crypto. My name is Elizabeth Howard, and today I want to talk to the one and only Max from Crypto Talk Now. I'm super stoked to talk to him. I've learned so much from watching his show. He has live streams all the time, so you got to go check him out. But first, you know what to do. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so and follow me on my Twitter at SpaceyCrypto1. And also, this is the channel that I'm talking about, Crypto Talk Now. Go sub to the channel. This link is in the description box below, along with Max's Twitter right here. Go give him a follow. And also, this link is in the description box below as well. Crypto Talk Now 21. But we're going to go back and forth to that so we can remind people throughout the show. People coming in a little late, but it's all right. They'll hit that replay. I want to go ahead and introduce Max into the space cabin. What's up, Max?
Hey, what's up, Space Chick? Glad to be here with you. It's a privilege, obviously, and I've been watching your show for a while now myself, keeping up with your Volted updates and so on. I too am into Volt, and I think you got a great community here and so on. You had some great special guests. I didn't have a chance, unfortunately, to watch Mike the Investor. He was one of the first influencers that I subscribed to way back early in 2021. So I have to check out the replay on that, but I did get to see a little bit. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, he was one of the first ones that I subbed to as well. I was like, Mike, I'm fangirling right now. I'm kind of fangirling right now as well because I've been watching you. I'm like, oh my gosh, where have I been? I've been under a rock. I've been seeing your logo everywhere. And then finally, I took the time. And I'm telling y'all, you got to take the time. Click on that sub button to this channel and watch his lives. I'm telling you right now, you will not regret it. I'm so glad I did because ever since then, my knowledge has just, I feel like I've learned so much in just such a short amount of time. Like you'll have 5-hour live streams and talk about so much. Somebody could go back and write a book about the stuff you go over, and you go over everything. Like you go over articles, you go over tweets, you know what's going on in the government. And I like that. I like that about you, that you have a whole spectrum of everything. You don't just go by charts. I love that about you. Your research on point. So with that being said, when did you get started in crypto blockchain? When did you get started?
Well, here's the thing. I originally heard about Bitcoin back in about 2010, believe it or not. And ironically, the sad thing was I just got out of, shout out to Burn by Saitama. His name is Burn by Saitama.
Yeah.
He's into Volt. So I got burned by MLM basically. And at that time, I was like, man, I'm not hearing nothing, blocking out noise. I said to myself, there's this thing called Bitcoin. Didn't realize much about it. Didn't even read the white paper or anything like that. So I blocked out Bitcoin back in 2010. Can you imagine that? And
Ooh.
so, yeah, it was
It's all
bad.
right, Max.
And so a few years later, one of my friends, he says, and this is a guy who actually literally collects real coins, right? So he says to me, his name is George, and he says, hey man, you should like get into this Bitcoin thing. Like it's really starting to take off. And at that time, I think it was like at like $6,000 or something like that. And I said, all right, well, maybe I'll buy a few or something like that. So back in 2016, I bought just a little bit like a Bitcoin, not like a full Bitcoin. Obviously, I don't know. It was like maybe like $300-$400 worth or so on. So I sat on it. And basically, it was early 2021. My gamer friend tells me, he says, look, I know that we haven't talked for a while. Listen to this. I'm now worth $5 million. I'm like, wait, what? He says, I know it sounds crazy. He's like, I put $5,000 into Dogecoin in summer of 2020. And he says, and basically it's now worth $5 million. And I was like, what? He says, yeah. And he says to me, I'm telling you flat out, he says, you need to put in like 10 grand right now into Dogecoin. I said, look, I'm a school teacher, right? So I cannot just put 10. I mean, I could have, right?
Mhm.
But I was like, I can't do that. He's like, well, then put in like 1,000. I was like, I could put in like 300. In reality, I could have probably put in like 2 grand, right? But I was just at that point, like, who are you to tell me this, right, man? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, long story short, I put like $300 into Dogecoin. It was at a penny at that time, and he said, "I promise you, it's going to go up by tomorrow. You won't regret it." And I was just like, "All right, well, I'll put like $300." Anyway, long story short, like a few months later, my $300 investment became like 22K. I didn't cash out right at the top, but I was like really, really close to it. And I'm glad I did. And then from there, I was like, oh my God, like I got bit by is what I call, the crypto bug. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, I mean, you're not researching all this stuff at the time. All you know is I tell people, I'm like, I just came off the boat of Robin Hood, if you will. I'm wet behind the ears. I don't know what I'm doing. And so I said
Yeah.
to myself, I think a lot of people do this at the time. So they say, oh man, I'm going to go out and find all the ones that are a penny or under a penny. And guess what? That led me to Shiba Inu. And with
Mm-hmm.
Shiba Inu, I basically was convinced like that was the next best thing, better than Dogecoin. And I was like, you know what? Now I'm really going to listen to my friend, right? So I put 8K into that, wrote it up almost towards the highs on that particular one, paid close attention to that. It was 8K, became 88K. And then after that, I was like, oh my God, I have to research everything. I became obsessed with crypto. I got into Kronos. That was my third top performer of 2021. $1,700 became 10K, almost like the same type of situation. Long story short, 2021, 10K became 120K. And after that, I was like, what's all this talk about utility and these particular projects? And I decided, you know what? I'm going to put a big amount, I'm going to reinvest a big amount of this 120 back into crypto, and I did, and it's been an obsession every single day since that particular time. So as far as our show, we do live shows every single day of the week, and they're always at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. This is only like I think my second or third time being a guest on a show, so it's an honor to be here, Space Chick.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. That's cool. You have really like you have a good streak. That let's go to Vegas.
Yeah, I like Reno
That
too. Reno's pretty fun. I don't know if you've been there.
No, I've never been there. Okay, let's go to Reno because you're
Yeah.
extra lucky. Did you have any duds along the way? Like,
Oh, you better believe it. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
okay.
unfortunately, that's part of the crypto journey is to acquire some, I hate to say it, like some pump and dumps and stuff like that. So I learned a lot of things. Like there's this one project I think I got into at the beginning of this year. It's called Galaxy Snake, and I even had a feeling about it. I was like, these guys seem like they're a bunch of freaking snakes. And so on that one, I think I lost like $600 or something like that. Obviously Clifford Inu, I pay attention to quote unquote top influencers, and
Mhm,
um, it's like, come on, you guys get paid to shill this crap, no offense, and
mhm,
you can't update your communities in a video. Yeah, they say, do your own research. Well, how about this? Do your own due diligence, top influencers, by at
mhm.
least put out a video memo saying there's going to be a V2. And if you don't have it on Crapmart, aka Bitmart, you're going to get burned. You know what I mean? So I got burned. It's like get burned by Saiton. I got burned by Clifford Eno, right? So I try to avoid as much meme tokens as I can. However, there is one I don't avoid, and that is volts. Why is that? Because
Oh,
I believe there's too much of a powerful community behind Volt that you just can't dismiss it. I mean, at any given time, sorry, I was saying this, I'm gonna turn this off. At any given time, you guys can like Volt Twitter, and I saw like over was 197,000 tweets and something like in a week, and was beating Shiba Inu. So I was like, look, in a true bull run, as we know, this thing could burn, in my opinion, a minimum of one. That's a given, and I think it could do two. I don't know about three, but you
mhm,
know what? I think two, and that is a significant amount of change, if you will, depending on your position.
mhm. A lot of people are like, meme coin. I'm like, y'all, this is a project that is disguised as a meme coin. Like we had a video drop last night about Volti Eco. We have no idea what it means. We have no Max, you got to check out my video. It's a long one, but it's like 19 minutes. I haven't done one in like that long in a while, but I promise you, I bet you'll figure it out. We're always getting
Yeah,
riddles and stuff. But what's cool is if you like the meme coin space is fun like you said, but you have to find a good project because, they have to have utility. They have to help change the space. And that's the only one I found that'll do it, because unfortunately I got wrecked over and over and over the past few months. So I have learned the hard way and finally seen what goes on in the background with whale groups and how they'll start a project. Like I was telling them yesterday, I had an AMA with a dev, small project just launched. And then I had another AMA. I remember that. It was like a week later. And then, so it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, I would say, I heard the same dev from the first AMA on a Twitter space. And I always wonder if he was, because he wasn't doxxed on the second one. There was another project. I always wonder if he even hopped to that one as well. So, I mean, you got to be so careful out here, y'all, because there are, influencers that will pump and dump their own bag, sadly. Like, you don't want to run into a dud. That's why you say you got to do your own diligence, and you are a man that loves utilities. What type of utilities do you look for in a crypto project?
If it has like solid use case, basically, is it's trying to solve like a real world problem. And of course, from an investor point of view, what is that risk to reward ratio? So like the ones that is really stand out for us for the last couple months is Jasmy. You have a lot of people who are invested into Ripple's XRP, are also taking the jump over to Jasmy. I gotta fix my avatar right there. I guess apparently on the black mode it comes across all funky. If you do the regular default one, it looks okay. But anyway, I gotta fix that. But yeah, that's the way you look at it. Is Ripple's XRP has a very attractive risk to reward ratio. All these people, and I realize maybe some people here are part of this mix, but it's like that risk to reward ratio. If you're focusing too much on the whole case of the SEC, then you're not realizing the bigger picture. Even with a Ripple loss, which I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're eventually going to get the win. The rest of the world is going to, embrace innovation. They're going to move on. I mean, you think the central banks of Europe and so on around the world are really going to be like, well, you know what? The SEC, they defeated Ripple, so we can't move on. No, even like Japan, they recently came out with what they call a Web3 white paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if the United States had the attitude that Japan has when it comes to all this. We'd be in a far, far better situation.
Yep.
So we're getting left in the dust when it comes to the broader understanding of these technologies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the government is playing such a big role in what's going on right now. And that's why I tried to change my channel up a little bit, kind of like, okay, I'm learning, I'm growing. I want everybody to learn what I'm learning as well. And so I've been, it's a whole other language again, the crypto space. And then you got to learn like the government and how it works. And yeah, it's a lot, but it's worth it because this is going to change everything right now. This is a very pivotal moment for crypto, for currency in general, for the US. Oh, and then they used the R word the other day, so that was good for us. But I saw gas go up over $4 down the street too. So and it was packed over there. So it's crazy, but you've got to keep up with what's going on in the government. And so how do you do both? Were you always checking out and seeing what the government was doing with crypto like this whole time, or are you just starting to learn about it, or how are you doing it? Because I'm trying to juggle both right now.
Now, the way I look at it is, there's a negative side to it, obviously, when it comes to this. Some people, won't touch, for instance, Ripple's XRP with a 10-foot pole. Again, for me, it's like you're not realizing the bigger picture. I mean, sometimes like we'll put out a video, we'll have a person, and I respect their opinion, for the most part. I don't want to do too much of the cancel culture, like, oh, this person has a different opinion, so I'm just going to delete their comment. I think that's ridiculous. But most of them have this attitude that, just again, I think it's kind of like tunnel vision. You're too focused on the whole thing with the SEC, and you're not realizing that there's going to be what they call FOMO money. So in itself, Ripple wins the case against the SEC. That in itself, in my opinion, you're looking at like anywhere from $10 to $20 minimum, for Ripple's XRP. That's a huge jump in itself. And then what causes that is a lot of the FOMO money. People will FOMO in. Why would I want to FOMO in on some of these particular projects at that price? You can't really load up a big bag, if you will, unless you're like a multimillionaire at those particular prices. So even at like 51, 52 cents, it's just more than attractive to, in my opinion, load up on some of these. So I originally got into Ripple XRP at like, 32 cents to the 40-cent range, different bags and so on. I did the same thing with some of these other ones that you see here, Quant, but Jasmine, yeah, there's just
Yeah,
so many different ones.
you have a lot of videos out, and look, y'all, they are like lengthy, a lot of them, to give you all like jam packed with info. This was the one I caught a little bit of the other day.
Okay.
I need to look at this one, 5 hours and 37 minutes. I mean, this is research, deep dives, y'all.
Yeah, it's a little crazy towards the last bit of that, we call it like CTN after dark. But yeah, sometimes when we go a little bit goes the distance, I'll try to also like, hey, you know what, maybe we should like obviously, talk about some of these deep dives or whatever, but it can get a little off the rails after, it gets too far into it, but that's okay.
That's okay. I would have to order pizza or something during that time. I'd be like, y'all are just fixing to watch me eat.
Right.
I'm starving. Now, okay, what about this? I won't touch XRP. What's up, F Joe? So, twins, and why won't you? We're curious, right? Why won't you touch it? To centralize. He doesn't like centralized exchanges or anything. Do you think XRP is going to win the case?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to win the case, and it's going to, when people say that it's going to be a win for crypto, it really is that. We all want that regulatory clarity, and that really excites people. If your focus is like the typical person, and I don't mean no disrespect, right? Like I even have like Waddy, he's a great guy, and he does a lot of that technical analysis, and I'll joke around with him like, look, man. The utility run, if you understand it, could give two blankety blanks about these charts. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is it's like it's good to see what's going on and pay attention to what happened last bull market. The overall crypto market cap of like 4 trillion plus roughly. You will see market caps you've never seen in your entire life. Like, oh man, we get excited about certain projects. Was a Shiba Inu back at 21 going parabolic. I experienced that myself. I was amazed by it. But if you're excited about that, it's the utility run that people should be really excited about, because once you get that clarity, the days of what they call pump and dumps, that completely changes. And on top of that, you're going to have a whole wave of that institutional money coming in. Why? They have to have that clarity. Without that clarity, they are not in. So once clarity happens, FOMO money comes in, you name it, not just from institutions, also on the retail side. But by that point, it's like, in my opinion, it's too late. So these distressed prices that people see and so on, don't take it for granted. Because my attitude is, again, it's not financial advice. That's where you want to enter in. If you go to crypto.com/university, there's an image. Actually, you can Google it. You just type in crypto accumulation phase, and it basically shows that we are in an accumulation phase. The next phase, if you follow like 4-year cycles and so on, is literally blast off. And what I mean by that is the markup phase. You don't want to be in crypto in a markup phase. So, sorry?
Is it this one, Max? Is it this one?
Yeah, you should be able to go down.
You see it?
And it doesn't show. I think you have to go to Google and just type on, go to images, and you could actually pull it up. But this is something that we've pointed out a few times for like the longest time.
Yeah. Oh, this right here. This right here is the one I like. The Wall Street.
Yeah, that one from stocks. Yeah, I mean, you could apply that as well, but yeah, that's not the exact way. It's okay, but it basically just shows that we're in an accumulation phase, and the next stage is basically blast off, which is the markup phase. I don't want to be accumulating crypto in a markup phase.
No, I know. That's what. Okay, so I pulled this up and I accidentally clicked out of it. Coin market cap. I'm always checking this, and then I started checking how many cryptocurrencies there were out there on December 1st, right, 2022, and there was, I believe it was 21,089 cryptocurrencies out there at that time, and now look at all this trash that's come in as well. This is
Yeah,
so
a
much
lot.
trash
Yeah,
to sift through.
a
And
lot.
exchanges has even gone up. I think it was like 400 when we started counting them and watching them, and now 611. I mean, the market cap is nice, but I mean, that's just too much. Like,
Hey,
we know, huh?
I didn't mean to cut you off. Can we smash the like for Space Chicks live stream? My goodness, on this wonderful Saturday morning. If I'm not mistaken, you got like 72 people here. So
Oh,
very cool.
wow. Nice. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Space Cabin. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, smash sub, smash that like button. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Whoa, we jumped up to 142. I think this is the most I've ever had in my live stream before. Like, ever.
No, you probably had a lot when you had Mike the Investor. I mean, isn't he up to like 100,000 subscribers or something?
Yeah, but it was at 1 in the afternoon. And so I think that might have been why. But the replay, people definitely hit the replay on that. Definitely. Twinsen says network centralized to integrated with the fiat system and government agencies subject to overzealous regulation. That's why he doesn't like XRP. XXI Gaiman says you got a point, Max, but the data matters too. All of it together makes the market flow. And I mean,
Yeah.
I get it. It measures the people's behaviors, but it's from the past of catalysts that have already happened. And that's what I always ask. It's kind of like the chicken before the egg, right? I mean, the charts were made after people's behavior. Like, something has to happen in order for somebody to feel a certain way, and then they react, and that's what creates the candle on the chart. And we never know what catalyst we're going to have. And so that's why I have on my bio, crypto is more than a chart, it's a mind game. And I mean, I love doing TA. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to nerd out on some TA, but I do agree, like, it's got to be, more than a chart for sure. But look at Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, I respect people's opinion when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bitcoin, I mean, over 30K. I mean, that in itself creates FOMO. Ethereum over 2,000 definitely creates FOMO.
Some people are thinking that Bitcoin is going to hit 40 here pretty soon. There was some people. Wow, we have 417 people in the Space Cabin. Hello, everybody. Hit that sub button.
My God, that like. I might have to do a live stream in the morning if that's the case. Jeez, really?
Like, what? I'm telling you, I have no idea. I must have caught the algorithm of something that I tagged. I don't know. It's because you're here,
sent out. No, it can't be. I sent out. I tagged all the communities earlier on a tweet. Like because I asked you, I said, "It's okay. We're not going to talk about just Volt only. If I could just tag all the communities, and I did. But honestly, I mean, we can't really talk about all of it. It's a lot. It'd be a 5-hour stream if that's the case."
I know, and you do. Y'all sub to his channel here. Go check out Max. Okay, so read this, XXI Gaming. Y'all go sub to Max. This is who I'm talking to right now, my special guest today, Crypto Talk Now. Go sub to his YouTube channel, and he's also on Twitter. Now, I have it in dark mode, so I'm kind of messing up his avatar, y'all.
Oh, that's all right. It's all right. Yeah, Larry does the same thing. Shout out to Larry. But XXI, glad to see you. I think I saw a few other recognizable faces. I have to check my other screen. Coochie Boy, Brittany, always appreciate Brittany as well. Eddie T's in the house. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much. We have 569 people now in the Space Cabin. Hello to the new people in here. Hit that sub button.
You can't be serious.
Yeah, I know, it's wild. 636 now.
I don't know. I don't know about that. That's, I mean, Space Chick, that sounds awesome, but
there must be a glitch in StreamYard. 751. Yeah. All right, Max, keep talking. Tell us.
I don't know what's going on. Like, was it what's his name? What's the guy's name? Mr. Beast, he says like wave your hands around or something, gets the YouTuber. A long time ago, I think it was like last summer, me and Larry were on a live stream, and it was for like maybe, I don't know, like 5 minutes. The thing glitched, and there was like 1,500 people, and we're like, oh my god! And it was just, it
Whoa.
had to have been like a bug or something. So maybe it's real. I don't know. Maybe it's a real thing, Space Chick.
I
So
think it's a
yeah,
glitch. I think
okay.
it's a glitch because it keeps going up by 100, like
Oh,
857.
oh
So
my
I
god.
want to know this as well. XXI Gaming, he says, so Max, you don't see us taking a downturn around quarter 3? Some people think it's a trap, a bull trap. What do you think about it?
People
Do
have been
you think
talking
it's
about
gonna?
this. Yeah, people have been talking about this bull trap thing, and I respect that for a while. And don't get me wrong, like I pointed out before, you can very well have like, mini black swan events, rumors of wars, all those types of things can even happen in a bull market. But like I've been covering this whole thing of the bull run thesis. I think my next video will be either my 7th or 8th time talking about it. There's too much, and I know this might be contradictory, right? About actual data that supports this thesis of where we're going. So if you follow 4-year cycles, that in itself is big. On top of that, where we're going with the fast tracking of getting towards these regulations to get that clarity. I just really think that there's still money to be made in 2023. Like even for myself, I got into Filecoin roughly about a month ago, a little over
Mhm.
a month ago, and I basically bought them on that, like four average about 2 bags, $4.83, and I turned like yeah, it was basically, I made $3,000 in 3 days, and then I try to swap that for some of these other particular assets. I call it like a power swap. But I mean, 2022, I mean, the only thing anybody was really profitable on was probably like Bone, maybe Matic, right?
Mhm.
Things like that. Like if you bought bottom. But yeah, so far in 2023, it's been profitable for me. So I'm really pleased about that. And I think there's more than enough data to show that you can make money in 2023. And not only that, I mean, to me, bottom on the overall crypto market was right around the time of FTX. We saw Bitcoin touch the 15s, like 15.8, 15.9 roughly. And then since then, I mean, shoot, we're up to like what, 31K a Bitcoin at one point now. And some people say we would never touch 30K.
They did. They said that, and it went. Can you believe? Just a few months ago, it was, I think, in January, 17.5K, and that's what I remember looking back and seeing. And nobody thought that was going to happen. Everybody panicked, sold. Also, that week that the USDC went down, like everybody was freaking out, and a lot of people in crypto knew what was going on because we're built different. We
Yeah.
know what's going on. That's why we're in crypto. That's why y'all are here today, because y'all know something is up, and
Well,
I mean, something's up.
I don't mean cut you off, but I mean, so, you're talking about freaking out. Something's going on. Something is definitely going on because I mean, I love you, Space Chick. You're awesome. There's no way in hell you got 1,040 people watching right now.
I know. I can't believe it. It's insane. I've never had this before. I
Yeah,
swear, I think it's
we had
it's
it happen
something.
once, and it was last summer. So I don't know if it's like a yearly thing or whatever, but you can glitch out. It's really weird. But anyway,
Mhm. But what do
if
you think of what do you think about this? Do you think this is true, this chart, Wall Street cheat sheet, psychology of market cycle? I like the book Psychology of Money. That's what I'm reading right now, and it's a lot of, risk to reward ratio. It's a lot of luck. Even they were saying that some people get, and a lot of people don't like to say that, luck has played a part in it. Some people can get offended by that, but some people, it's just all about flipping the coin. I mean, y'all saw how many cryptocurrencies there are out here, over 23K. That's a lot of trash to sift through. And
yeah,
some of those people hit really big on some of these crap coins and that don't do anything. And a lot of people are in the back end, making a bunch of these crap coins. And there's a group of them, groups of them probably. So you do want to stay with projects that are going places. And I mean, just keep this in mind, y'all. Whenever you want to sell or you have disbelief, you're gonna sell, and you're gonna sell for a loss. So you have to invest in a project you believe in. But what the ISOs That's what I'm most concerned about right now, and that's getting a lot of attention. Can you tell us a little bit more about the ISO projects that you're liking? Which one's your favorite?
Well, my actual number one favorite, it's a close tie to Ripple's XRP, but it's Quant. If you're, a lot of people are impressed with obviously Bitcoin, okay, because they feel as though that's the one that's proved itself the test of time. You did see some of those bottoms of 15.9, right around the time of FTX. I guess I'll answer this real quick. Max, wouldn't the FTX situation be a black swan event, not the true bottom? Well, here's the thing, right? So we saw, in my opinion, the true bottom at that particular time, and then we also talked about, where we're going from here, and we went, we leapfrogged ourselves to new support lines. We leapfrogged ourselves to, you know, for the longest time, 25K Bitcoin, then up to 29. Now we're at 30. We touched 31s. I mean, I could pull this up. It's just it would be too long of deep dive. I don't know how long what your
No,
time
go ahead
constraints is
if
going.
you want. Go ahead. I
Yeah.
have one at 4. That's all. I have
Well,
another.
I'll just answer this question real quick. In regards to ISOs, right? It's just a messaging standard. And I had a special guest on a show like roughly about a couple weeks ago. His name is Tokenizer. He's a really great deep diver, and he agreed with me that the key thing is, and this is the way a lot of people got to look at it. And shout out to some of the guys that watch the show. They're here. They already get this.
Mm-hmm.
So when ISO 222, the messaging system, went live on March 20th, you got to look at it from this perspective. I use this analogy of, you went out and you spent, let's say, for example, you bought like a supercomputer, right? Let's say you went out and bought like a $10,000 computer, whether it's gaming / everything. It's got the dual CPU, quad core, whatever. It's got, you got the best ray tracing card in the world. That thing is like $5,000 in itself. It's just the most amazing thing. But let's put it in the financial terms. The quantum financial system. That's a quantum computer, right? A beast. So you went out and you bought this amazing, amazing computer, and you're like, man, I cannot wait to use this. I'm going to do a bunch of online shopping. I'm going to go on Amazon. I'm going to buy up this. I'm going to buy up that. You're a lady yourself, right? You probably get excited, like, hey, girls, let's go out on a shopping spree. This, back in the day, let's go to the mall, right? A lot of people don't do that no more. Maybe you do it online. So you're all excited about getting this new computer. But you're like, oh, God, you're a nurse, right? So you probably put in long shifts. You're like, oh, my God, work kicked my butt today.
Uh-huh.
So, all right, well, I unpackaged this and I have it all hooked up. I'm so excited. Maybe I have maybe an hour to go online shopping. You plug it in, and what's it tell you? You got to do all these updates. That's the way you should look at ISO 222. So it tells you got to run all these updates. You're like, oh, got it. But this is my special day. I just got this. So you're like, all right, whatever. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to let this thing run. I'm just going to let it run its updates and so on. And then you come back from it, you go to sleep. You come back the next day and you're like, oh, I'm so tired. I guess I'll just wait until literally this weekend to use this. So here's the point, right? Excuse me. Until you do that online shopping, that's the utility. The utility is using that computer for that online shopping. It's not you plugged in this computer and it has, it's a quantum computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can have a bunch of amazing computers. If they're not doing anything, they're not using that utility, then they're just sitting there. The same could apply to this ISO 222 thing. So there was so much focus about XRP and Stellar and some of those particular ones are like, well, why didn't the price move? The answer why the price didn't move is for the same reason of what I just gave you with the online shopping. You have to use the utility. What sector end up using the utility? And actually end up being the trade sector, which was XDC. And that, basically did a 2X since that particular time. Then, like I was telling our community, watch out for XRP. Watch out, for instance, Stellar to actually move in like 2 or 3 days. Not trying to toot my own horn here, but I was right. In about 2 or 3 days, those did pump. You saw XRP go from the 35 to 40 cent range. We're up to 52 cents. But for the longest time, it was trading sideways at 32 cents. Now it's at 51 cents. The next big step, obviously, would be $1. But here's the key thing, and I mention this to my group all the time, and I don't want to control the narrative or the talk on your show, Space Chick. This is your show.
You're fine.
I want to get this point across to anybody who has doubts when it comes to Ripple's XRP. I use this analogy a lot. There's a thing that they have. You need to understand ODL. Put aside all of the tunnel vision when it comes to this SEC case, and just listen to me when I gotta get this across. Look at it from layman's terms. I'm a school teacher, so I have to teach in layman's terms. When it comes to the central banks of the world, they need a thing with real use case to solve the problem of what they call nostro vostro accounts. That's another deep dive in itself. I want you to just come back to me real quick, and that is this. You got to picture Olympic-sized swimming pools. All right, so when Ripple's XRP was at 32 cents, literally look at that faucet, little droplets. Those little droplets represent 32 cents. All right, since ISO 222 went live, now you're starting to turn that faucet on, and now you see price in regards to that. One more particular thing. Once all of this is fully implemented as an ISO 222, right? We have all the way until November of 2025 to get this fully implemented. That's where you're literally turning on those faucets, that on-demand liquidity, Ripple's ODL it's called, filling up those pools with all that liquid or water, you want to call it, right? But once that's filled up, again, that means you have full utility being used. Nobody can calculate the exact price of all this stuff, but I'll tell you this much. When you see a person like Brad Garlinghouse or Ripple state, you know what? Last month, we tested this thing, and look at this, $770 million worth of Ripple transferred from point A central bank to point B central bank, and we were able to do it in 3 seconds flat for a penny. When you got reports last year that, for instance, and this is just an example, right? Not the exact thing. The Bank of Greece transfers $10 trillion to, for instance, the Bank of Seoul, South Korea. And that central bank gets hit with what? A $60 billion transfer fee. So for one, the central banks don't want to use the old system of SWIFT because, for one, it doesn't incentivize them. Nobody wants to sign up and get slapped with a $60 billion fee. And then on top of that, big time institutions, they will rarely transfer that money unless they have to, because again, they realize that the banks are going to get hit with a big fee. They're going to get hit with the fee, so on and so forth. It's not a big win. So my thing is this: with this new monetary system we're going towards and embracing distributed ledger technologies, you're going to incentivize not only the banks, but the big institutions, the BlackRocks of the world and so on, right? BlackRock is the world's largest asset custodian. You're incentivizing them to have the greatest amount of money flow you've ever seen in the history of mankind. You're incentivizing them because it's a win-win situation. And what I'm saying is this: if you're allowing for $10 trillion to transfer and those central banks don't get hit with a $60 billion fee, it ends up being like a few cents, and it transfers in literally 3 seconds flat instead of waiting an entire day for that to transfer. ISO 222, that messaging system, just in a nutshell, I'll just tell you real quick, basically states this: the Bank of Greece, that is a different type of alphabet in itself, right? It's not like traditional English, right? You got those, like if you've ever been part of a fraternity, or in your case a sorority, you got, like alpha, beta, kappas and all those type of things, but that's based in Greek, right? Hence what people say, do you speak Greek or do you read Greek? No. But anyway, imagine all that money being transferred on that particular messaging format to the Bank of Seoul, South Korea. They don't use an alphabet, they use characters. So it gets sent there at roughly, let's say, I don't know, like 6 a.m. our time, right? I think they're like 9 hours ahead, right, in Greece. And then it gets sent to South Korea. Do you think somebody's going to be at that bank in South Korea to accept that? No. So then they get this message, right, from the old SWIFT messaging system. It says, you know what? This, I don't know what the heck this is, but it has a number of 10 trillion on it. Well, what the heck is this? They don't get it. So it becomes, the message it becomes truncated is what it's called. ISO 222 solves that. Boom, it goes from point A to point B. It's fully, completely interpreted from point A to point B. And when it lands in Seoul, South Korea, it's already in their native language. There's no, hey, I got to contact this guy in Greece. I got to stay up late or whatever the case be and get the transaction finalized. That's why you also hear about finality. That's what they're talking about. So if the saying, as the saying goes, time is money, Space Chick. And
Mhm.
if you're all incentivizing central banks to use these new technologies, oh my God, that's where people who understand this, that's why they get so excited about it, because it's like, wow, you should get excited not about the retail money, but that institutional money, because that is where the real money's at. And that's of course where people feel as though when it comes to, at Ripple's XRP can get to like eventually $10,000 a coin. I know it sounds nuts. I probably sound like a loony bird on
Mhm.
your show talking about this stuff.
I've heard it though. I've heard that it gets up.
Yeah.
They're saying 10K.
Hmm. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. Some people even got higher than that. So my attitude also is this, and I'm not the only content creator who feels this way. If Ripple's XRP gets to $10,000 a coin, you better believe, even on the retail side of it, that Stellar could, go to 6,500, 7K. That's generational wealth. The key is, how long are you willing to sit on it to wait for all this stuff to get past, to get that clarity and so on? Well, part of doing your own research and seeing what's going on, paying attention.
The institutions know what's up. Data, in my opinion, is king. Whoever has the data, whoever controls the banks, they control the world. That's it. Plain and simple. There's no other ands, ifs, or buts about it. And this is where they're going. They're going to Quant. They're going to, what is it with H bar? Why is H bar not moving in price? I mean, I know that's a whole different animal. Maybe we can cover that here in just a little bit. But I think that is a whole different animal. But I do want to talk about H bar in a little bit.
Sure.
But that to me, the institutions see the technology, they see what's going on. They're kind of quiet about it. They are. They're pretty quiet about it because that's whenever they move. They moved whenever Bitcoin was at 17.5K. And now look at it. They're quiet about this because they're jumping in slowly but surely. Quant is going to go up. Do you think Quant will hit 500 or more?
Are you kidding me? That's not even scratching the surface at all. So when it comes to Quant, the reason why Quant is my number one. So for all you new listeners out there, I'll just state this. I'll come and send you all a formal invite to watch our daily shows if you choose to do so. We all have busy schedules. You need to find out more about Quant. So if you were a Bitcoin maxi, or you're like, you know what, Bitcoin is true freedom, and I get where you're coming from. We could hit 100K Bitcoin. I still think there's opportunity in Bitcoin. I think there's way more opportunity when it comes to the altcoins, though. And it basically it's like this. So as we know, Bitcoin went to 69K with zero utility. Whether people want to, like, I don't know, Max, all right? Well, we can agree to disagree. But in reality, it was zero utility. They say it's a store of value. Let's just think about that. Store of value is a big difference for utility. Now, back to the subject we were talking about earlier, and that is, well, thank you for that compliment, Scottish Crypto. I really appreciate that.
No,
I would love to come back on at some point. I mean, when
of course.
Space Chick has the opportunity. But anyway, in regards to Bitcoin, 69K with no utility. How about Quant? So Bitcoin has 21 point some odd million on its supply. With Quant, you have 14.88 million on supply. So there's less Quant. On top of that, now listen to this. Quant really doesn't deserve to be called Bitcoin with utility because it's so much more than Bitcoin. But anyway, with Quant, they allow for 100 plus blockchains to be fully interoperable. And they have like all this stuff going on with APIs. As we know, you're talking about HBAR earlier. HBAR at some point is going to have to tackle the subject, Space Chick, in regards to their APIs. And we addressed that on the show. And I think they will. They have a partnership with Quant that simply makes sense to get that done with Quant. So you literally got to look at it this way, right? Picture the Mall of America. Before earlier, I used the example of, Olympic-sized swimming pools. Let's picture it this way. BlackRock, they go and they purchase like literally the Mall of America. Just think about what I'm saying here. All right. So in the Mall of America, I'm sure there's a lot of what? Plumbing. There's going to be a lot of people are going to, sorry to use this depiction, they're going to have to go to the bathroom at some point, right? So you have all that plumbing throughout the whole entire Mall of America. Now look at it from the perspective of blockchain. Quant allows that interoperability of the whole network, that whole mall, right? And that just represents one mall, right? To talk to each other, right? They're literally like the plumbing. Are you going to care about what brand Quant used, or this particular company used when it comes to the PVC piping? Oh, did you go with Carl's and Co? No, who's that? Who cares? All you need to know is that basically that PVC piping works and it's sufficient and it gets the job done and so on. That's all you really care about. You're not caring about if the tools came from Craftsman or Stanley or whoever, right? You're not caring about that. The point is it works. Quant, 100 plus blockchains to be fully interoperable. And on top of that, they have a thing in which they have an operating system. See, here's the thing. With Ripple's XRP, they have announced, Brad Garlinghouse, that they're not it's never been focused on the retail sector, right? It's always been the financial sector, if you will. Same with Quant, to a sense. Like, they made a recent announcement, Gilbert Verdi, and he stated, we don't even really label our product or service as being like cryptocurrency, right? The focus is on the operating system. What is that operating system? It's called Overledger. So what I was trying to state is this: it allows for 15 plus SDKs, which means software development kits, for people from all different likes of all different coding languages, where C#, C++, Python, people who know JavaScript and so on, to come in and with 3 lines of code be able to build. That's the key to what? Building up ecosystems and so on, right? We're always talking about, this project, man, we need to build the ecosystem, so on and so forth. So already you have that scarcity because it has way less tokens, or coins, I should say, than Bitcoin. Has a lot more use case. On top of that, they got, I'm not a fan of CBDCs, but that's a reality. They got roughly about 3 different CBDCs they're building. In Latin America, the Digital Pound, Gilbert Verdian, the CEO. He's part of the Digital Pound Foundation. And on top of that, we had reports, we did deep dives in regards to this. So Gilbert Verdian, Martin Hargreaves, and the rest of the Quant team, they had connections with MIT, and they even did testing with a project. I'm sure some of you guys who are into this know about this Project Hamilton. And so you have these guys testing all that out, and that doesn't even still scratch the surface of what Quant brings to the table. So they bring a lot to Web3, right? Metaverse, all these types. They literally hit every single aspect that you could think of. Payment APIs, legacy systems, you name it.
I know. I'm trying to find that chart. You know what I'm talking about, where it shows everything, all the APIs, like what they're connected to.
I'll tell you what. I have a trailer of the recent Quant Overledger update, and I would love to share that with your community. It's only about 2 minutes. It literally, yes, you get this goosebumps after you watch it. In my opinion, it literally is like the lady who does the trailer. She sounds like she's from like a James Bond movie or something. It's just
that's awesome.
I chopped it up earlier before your show and made a snippet. I ripped it off of the site, the Overledger site, but because they didn't have it available for download anywhere, I was like, I'll just pull it off of there. But
where is it at? Can you screen share yours?
Yeah, what I'll do is I will present. I have a video file, and I can just share it that way, and then all you have to do is just accept it.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right, let's show this to you guys, and if anything, you probably will need a full screen it, but.
Y'all go sub to Max's channel. It's Crypto Talk now. Also, I want to tell y'all,
spurring a revolution in the way we create.
Give me 1 second. Y'all go also to his Twitter. Go follow him on Twitter at DPG Maximus. Go give him a follow and go sub to the channel Crypto Talk now. Go sub, and also this one, Crypto Talk now 21. All right, let's get back to it. 1 second here. Had to. Oh, I didn't even show it. Sorry, y'all, but at least you heard. All right, 1 second. I'll show him again. Max. Here, right here. All right. This channel right here, Crypto Talk Now. Go sub to the channel. This is Max right here on Twitter, DPG Maximus. Go sub to him on Twitter, and also Larry. Crypto Talk Now 21. But yeah, y'all go sub to the channel. Y'all are getting a lot of wealth of information today. Definitely go
Hoard
sub to
and
the
trade
channel.
value.
All right, let's check
Its
this out.
benefits, security, transparency, efficiency, can be applied to areas as diverse as payments, capital markets, and supply chains. That's why assets of all kinds are being tokenized on blockchains, making their ownership immutable, their provenance traceable, and their use manageable. The potential is enormous, but every blockchain is complex and creates a different walled garden of connections and functionality. Today, the decentralized world of blockchain is made up of closed environments, limiting liquidity and leading to increased risk and lost opportunity. Every digital asset must be created specifically for each chain, demanding dedicated developer skills, which are hard to find, time-consuming to master, and expensive to develop. Overledger Platform from Quant establishes a new benchmark for blockchain interoperability and ease of use. As a low-code enterprise-grade platform, Overledger empowers you to deploy, connect, and develop on any blockchain quickly and simply. With Overledger, you can generate an interoperable digital asset with just a few clicks, create secure smart contracts that can execute on any blockchain without having to hire a team of experts. And you can use its advanced APIs to integrate with your systems and manage your assets on multiple chains. We believe that the blockchain economy should be simple, trusted, and future-proof. These are our principles and the genesis of Overledger Platform, the enterprise standard for building on blockchain.
Oh, wow.
Pretty impressive, isn't it?
That is nice. Okay, y'all, Quant is where it's at. I wish I could just own a whole bunch of Quant. It really shot up in price to what is it at right now? Like, well, it's at a dip, 119, I think. Let me share that. Yeah, we're talking about Quant. What's up? Kirk Angel, how are you doing? All right, let me see here. Let me go back. I like that you did that.
Yeah, thank you. What I was gonna say is I'm gonna address this particular comment, and I do respect this point of view. And that's from Twinson. Bitcoin's utility is the power to own data, and so what you wish with the data, assuming you don't forfeit custody. To say Bitcoin has no utility is a stretch. I get all that. My thing is this, right? So my thing is I realize that soon we're gonna go to this, Yeah, my thing is I realize that we're going to go to this new monetary system, and when it comes to like the central banks, right? It's like what some people say. Why isn't Bitcoin ever? Why is it not mentioned in the talks of like transfer money and things like that? It never is. If you look more into it, the central banks are not going to use BTC for cross-border payments. They simply are not going to do that. Now, as far as the banks using Bitcoin as a store of value, yes, we have had confirmation in regards to that. So there's a difference between having something that's a store of value where, you're not exactly in a big rush to, get a lot of, I don't know, millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin transferred to your account, I guess you could say, in under an hour and so on, right? But they have announced that certain banks will use Bitcoin, obviously, for those particular purposes. But as far as the cross-border, hey, I'm this large institution. I'm a BlackRock, and I need to transfer. I don't know, like I mentioned earlier, $10 trillion in 3 seconds with finality, and on top of that, I only want to get hit with I don't know. Let's just say like 50 cents, a dollar, who knows? But my key thing is, if that was Bitcoin, oh my God, like there's just, I'm gonna talk about congestion in the network. Now they never talk about those specific things, but I'm glad you pulled that up. That's one that we definitely reference quite a bit.
Yeah, it is. It is. I know. I like all these right here, these APIs, these companies that they're dealing with right now. And there's going to be more. Do you think there's going to be way more than this? Or, I mean, they don't need to add any more to their list. They really don't, but they are. Do you think they're going to add more?
They're consistently adding more, actually. On the far left, think about all those things that you use on a daily basis. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Who doesn't use or how about this? Who hasn't used eBay? Twitter. As a content creator, Space Chick can basically verify this. It's like you're going to use what we refer to as crypto Twitter, for that community driven news. You're not going to get a bunch of info from the community on just some random Google search, right? You're going to have to go through crypto Twitter. You're going to have to type in hashtag QNT, and you find out, like, whether it's myself, Tokenizer, a guy named Greg Lunt does a great job of covering some of these projects. You got to get that community news. Sometimes, yes, we'll reference mainstream news, but let's face it, Space Chick, when it comes to mainstream news, that's a different narrative, and usually it's one extreme to the other with the pendulum, right, going back and forth. Like, if Bitcoin is 69K, they're going to report that. If everything's crashing and burning, the FTX situation, they report that. There's really no in between. And on top of it, how many times does mainstream media talk about use case and utility and explain it in a breakdown? You don't get that. So we got to have people like ourselves to bring that community news about the deep dive research or the interoperability of Quant, or talk about projects like Volt and so on, right?
Yeah, we are the face of crypto because, y'all, there's so much yellow journalism out there. It's ridiculous. You cannot listen to the news. And that's why y'all are here today, because you're learning about crypto, because y'all know what's up. Y'all know something's up. And like you were saying, all these companies we use, look at that. Reddit, Twitter. Elon shut me down for 2 months, and oh my goodness, I was going nuts, because that's where you find out a lot about what's going on in the crypto space, because there's always something going. It's tech. Like, you got to keep up with your investments as well, y'all. You got Gmail. I use these every single day. Shopify. E-com is like a multi-billion-dollar industry. That alone right there could have just been sitting by itself.
Well,
Yeah.
and not only that, it's not, payment APIs. You kidding me? Who doesn't use Google Pay or Apple Pay with their iPhone? Or how about this PayPal? I got to pay server rent every month to host the. I actually do have it's not a quantum computer, but I have a supercomputer. It's on one of those server racks, and it's at what they call co-location in Chicago. Yeah, well, it's because it's for my gaming group, right? So my gaming group, we've been around for 21 years. It's on my other YouTube channel, which is DPG Maximus. But our gaming group, right? We have to have a centralized server in the middle of the United States in Chicago. That way, people from the East Coast, when they play on our game servers, they have good connection. People play on the West Coast, or people play in the central United States, Dallas, Chicago, Kansas City, you name it, right? They have a great connection. So that's why we basically do that. But my point is, it's like PayPal. They only accept PayPal, so I got to use PayPal. There's just so many things here. Amazon Pay. And then some of the legacy blockchains and so on. Obviously, Bitcoin, Ethereum and so on. But we just did a deep dive not that long ago in regards to the Cosmos connection and how big that is.
I love Cosmos, and not just because of the logo and it's Cosmos, y'all. I promise. Cosmos is great. Look at Twinsin really, really quick. He says, my issue with Quant is with all these partners and data on this one network, it poses a risk of centralization from the perspective of data storage and transmission. The one network to rule them all. Yeah, that's what there's going to be one that's going to rule them all regardless. Like, we don't run the world, and a small amount of us sadly, and it sucks. So it's like, are you going to jump on or aren't you? Because there's, in some way, somehow they have info on you regardless. You buy anything online, they got you. It's just, it is what it is, unfortunately, but that's why, I think it's important to dip in on projects like this, because it's where it's at.
Well, there's a difference between, one network to rule them all and so on. So, one of the negative aspects that gets brought up about Quant is that it's technically, the token itself is an ERC20 token. And we've done a breakdown in regards to that. So, that is just used for, like, I guess you could say, like, for gas fees, for, being like, for instance, let's say you're a dev and you want to use the Overledger operating system. You have to pay just kind of like for Windows, right? You know, if you have a legit Windows, it's not pirated Windows. You will need to pay a licensing fee, whether it's, you know, an annual fee and so on. Overledger is the same type of concept when it comes to that, because it's blockchain agnostic. Basically, you don't have an extra layer of traditional blockchain to make things interoperable. With Quant's Overledger, it's just that blockchain agnostic. So at the end of the day, it's not that they're going to be one network to rule them all. When you think about interoperability, this incentivizes, for instance, you know, XDC. So to use their particular network, and all these other particular ones, where it's from Stellar, Ripple, et cetera, like you see on the list. So if, you know, God forbid, for, you know, let's say Ethereum went completely down, right? Like, as we know, we've seen Solana go down. We saw even HBAR temporarily go down because of that attack that they had, right? But they use what they call proxies to kind of instill like an insurance policy, and even SpaceJet cover that. So my thing is this: with Quant, they can, you know, piggyback, if you will, on other networks. So if Ethereum goes down, boom, immediately they can access, for instance, Zenfin's XDC network or other particular networks, right? So it's not necessarily one network to rule them all. It's, again, think about the concept of interoperability. It's kind of like the concept, if you're seeing the movie 300, King Leonidas and the mighty 300, what does he mention? You know, if we have one weak link, right, that's going to break down the whole chain. But the power is, if everyone, you know, is fully unified in understanding that they unite together as one, but through, I guess you could say, like the interoperability of the other guy, right, where everybody has each other's back. That's the way you need to look at this. So again, if Ethereum went down, boom, XDC. If God forbid, if XDC went down, which I wouldn't see that happening, you have other ones you can rely on. So that's kind of like a little brief breakdown of how their network works. They're always going to be able to have various different backups and so on. So it's a beautiful thing, to a sense. I mean, it's not like, when I mentioned the plumbing, you know, you have the main line goes down. Well, with Quant, it's not quite like that. Like, you know, you could have something go down and you have something else to fall back on.
I have a question for you now. I just thought of, you see, out of all of these cryptocurrencies, y'all, we were talking about all this trash out here, over 23K cryptocurrencies out here. They just chose these specific ones. Cardano being one of them, which I know is eyebrow raising for some people. And then you got Stellar, Polkadot, VeChain. I love VeChain, by the way. You have so many good ones in here, but the list is very slim. Do you think these are some cryptocurrencies that we should be looking into building our accumulating our bags as well? Or do you think it would be something to just dip in and dive into just accumulating Quant?
That would be financial advice. I want to give you financial advice, but what I was going to state is, you know, obviously you want to do more of your own research with all these particular things. And, you know, my thing is, like, you see Constellation DEG right there. That is a very, very underrated project. That is one that's leapfrogged itself towards the top of my list to get into. So like they have, for instance, the Air Force connection. Earlier we were talking about data. Constellation DEG is definitely all about data. Same with IOTA. Another one that's on the list that, because this, you know, needs to be updated, is Nixera from Alliance Block. But there's a few others, you know, they're just, this probably dates back to, I don't know, 2021 and so on. But it's
this is an old list, right? There's no way, because it's always moving, and I've seen this one out like for a while. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and you have different, you know, you have layer 1s, you have layer 2s. I mean, Polkadot technically is a layer 0. So, I mean, it's just, there's all sorts of different ones.
Like Twinson says, I will say you articulate your points very well. Oh, he doesn't
well, I
say
appreciate
that very
that.
often. What's up, Burn by Saitama? We were talking about you earlier.
Yeah, we used an example about how, like, 2010, I got burned by not Bitcoin. I got burned by MLM, and which was the reason why I didn't get into Bitcoin. So instead of burned by, I used you as an example, burned by Saitama. It's like burned by Saitama. I got burned by MLM.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we love your name there, Burn by Saitama. And he's also a master TikToker, by the way, y'all. Got to go check out his TikTok channel. He's so great. Look at these enterprise blockchains. Yeah, you know what? This list is old, but this is from their website. Do you think they don't want to tell us who else they're working with or what's going on? Because this list has grown so much, but this is the one that's on their website.
Yeah, it's definitely grown since then. It's just one of those things. I mean, you're literally looking at a team of guys from Quant. They got a lot going on. I mean, they're traveling to different parts of the world. They're doing virtual meetings, you name it. But there's a lot of, let's face it, like NDAs. So sometimes while we want them to update particular lists, maybe they can't do that due to, non-disclosure agreements and so on. So I don't know. It's just a project that very, excites me. It is people ask me, what's my top 5? It's definitely Quant XRP's right with that. Speaking of XRP, if you got time, I have this one particular clip, which is kind of like that feel good moment, if you will, similar to the one with Quant. I could definitely share that with you guys. I got that one chopped up too.
Yeah, let's watch it. Kirk Angel says, I think Hedera is hooked up with them as well.
Yes, they absolutely are. They have that Hedera partnership, which is, that's Hedera at some point, whether it's Dr. Lehman Baird addressing the issue, or, another guy from the Hedera team. The whole thing with APIs, that is something that Hedera will have to tackle at some point. And to me, it just simply makes sense that they would go with Quant to get that done for interoperability. That to me is just, they're not going to state that, obviously, right? Because that in itself could be insane price action. But in reality, like the saying goes, DYOR, do your own research. If you have, you already made that, or, drawn that conclusion like, okay, that is inevitable. That is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. I want to share your channel again. Yeah, go ahead and share that video.
Hey, River. Good to see you, man.
Who is this dude? Oh, so he's just playing. Okay, I was like, it's Max from Crypto Talk now. Everybody go sub to his channel. I mean, if you are learning something, sub to his channel. Sub to my channel as well, because I'm going to have Max back. Of course. But yeah, Crypto Talk now. We're talking.
Yeah, we'll have to have you join us sometime as well. You can.
Oh, yeah. Chop it up over there. I'd love it.
Yeah.
He said, hi.
Yeah, hello, River. Let me check the other screen real quick.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, you have great videos. I like that. Very, very informative.
Yeah, I haven't put out a video in like 5 days. I used to put out like videos every single day, just try to keep up with the algorithm and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing was, like the AC went out, and with these, these lamps, I just with the AC out, it was like 85, and then because I live in Phoenix.
Oh,
and so so with the lamps, it felt like 95 to 100, and it's just like, it's kind of hard to get enthused. Like, all right, guys, on today's video of Jasmine. All right, this is what happened in Hong Kong. Mr. Hara, it's got this really positive catalyst, and I got a positive catalyst on my face melting. It's not because crypto's gonna go to the moon, but it's because I'm dying here.
They'll be like, this dude can't even afford AC.
No, I can afford. I can afford AC. They put a new AC in yesterday. Yeah, they put a new AC in yesterday. So
he hit over 100K. Like, dude, you've made it. Like, you hit a lot of plays, and you've made a lot of money.
I didn't settle though. That's one thing I want to state. So I mean, some people have been like, "Oh, I'm gonna settle," but my thing was, my dreams basically is like back in 2015. 2016 especially, I met with some venture panels. I pitched my video game idea for both a first-person shooter and a 3D turn-based strategy game, and they went for it, right? Which is flattering because they do turn people down. But the key thing was, the first venture panel, they wanted like 85% of the profits, and I had to pay a 5% royalty fee to Epic Games for Unreal Engine 5, right? And I was like, that's not going to allow me, I have like about 5 or 6 devs on my team. That's not going to give us much to make much profit all. So I added up. I'm like, oh my God, that's going to be like McDonald's wages.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to people who work at McDonald's, but what I'm saying is just, that's not going to get it done. So I was like, yeah, there's later on, I was like, man, at some point, something's going to come along my way. It's going to help me get it done because I mean, being a school teacher, especially in Arizona, it's like the second worst teacher wages in the country next to Mississippi. So I said to myself, something's going to come along my way. And I'm not going to just give in and sign off to this. This is my dream. And so when all that stuff happened in 2021, I said to myself, well, who doesn't like to turn 10K and 120K, but that ain't going to make me rich. Some people could look at that as being life changing, but temporarily speaking, right? So I said to myself, I need to reinvest this in crypto. And I did. I'm really, really glad that I did. I took advantage of quite a few things. Some people say the bottom, right? In the crypto winter and so on. I saw various other projects build like XDC. And for all the people that complain about like sideways consolidation for the longest time, understand this. That strengthens the asset. Let's jump back just for a brief moment to the concept of why sideways consolidation for 6+ months is actually a good thing. So you literally, let's put back in layman's terms, because I am, a school teacher. I have to do this with my kids all the time, right? So you literally look at like a great big cauldron or a great big, like a steamer pot, right? So you keep filling that thing full of, whether it's liquid or, if it's Halloween, you fill it full of candy over and over. You could keep pushing it down, right? But eventually, what's going to happen? It's like you're not going to be able to fit any more things into it. You got to look at sideways consolidation as a good thing. It strengthens the asset. And then when time comes, if you have a good, solid project, you will see things go parabolic and so on. So we had a few projects that did just that we covered. We talked about Singularity Net since last summer of 2022. When it was at 4 cents, that's well over 45. XTC, we've seen that do about 2.5x roughly since that particular time. There's some other projects that we obviously cover. How about this Quant? Obviously, we just talked about Quant. So we covered Quant since $40. And, you've seen some of the prices on that as well. So there's quite a few projects that, have been doing pretty well that we've covered. And we're going to continuously follow some of these projects. So.
Hell yeah. You called Quant at 40?
Well, I can't take all the credit for that. So we have a wonderful member of the community. His name is Mike Cornwell, and he kind of introduced Quant to us. And then some of our members of the community got in at that particular time. And then of course I was sharing it, like a messenger news format and showing the use cases and so on. So there's this one guy, he's a trucker. His name is Linois. And about a couple months ago, as a thank you, because he got into Quant at 40. He donated one full Quant to me on KuCoin, which was really cool. So
that is so neat. Well, good, of course. That you're amazing. Oh, I'm not surprised. That's so cool.
Good, yeah, who doesn't want some Quant? I'll take some Quant. Anybody wants someone hook me up with
Quant? Yeah. I know, right? Quant. I want Quant. Like I'm just like gunning for it. And some people think, oh, it's too expensive. Oh, I missed it. No, I am not a financial advisor, but I don't think anybody missed Quant right now whatsoever. I mean, the institutions are watching it. They're playing it down. Like you said, we weren't in a bear market, y'all. We were in a builder's market. We were seeing which projects could survive 2022. The ones that survived and are still around are the ones you need to be checking out. And these tokens that we're talking about, I mean, like we're talking about Quant, we're going to be talking about HBAR here in just a second, which is just a whole other animal. I have some HBAR videos out. Hedera, y'all. Hedera is one. Now can we jump on over to Hedera really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Quant is where it's at. Quant is, in my opinion, the big dog out of all these, but Hedera is a sleeping giant, in my opinion. Let's see here. Because, I mean, they did have that happen to them a few months ago. I think it was, in March. They did have an issue. But they discussed the issue. They were very open with the community from the beginning. Like right now, it's up 2.69%. It's at 6 cents. I think it's at a steal. Now, it's on almost 500,000 watch lists, but I think, and it's ranked number 34. No, I think, and then Quant, it was over 1 million watch list. So I think we're going to see that watch list increase here in the next few months. And I think this should be on everybody's favorites tab for sure. The market cap, like I said, it's up 2.6%. Market cap over 2 billion. And I mean, H bar, tell me what you think about H bar. I am in love with this project. See, I'm not scared of this. I'm not scared of this right here. This accumulation phase, this builder's market. I mean, I know they're building the trust back up with the community and everything, but I feel like they really took care of what happened in March very well. How do you think they handled what happened in March?
They handle it beautifully. You want to see your project, whether it's Hedera or the next guy, have things in place, like an insurance plan. It's not officially called that, but it's basically like an insurance policy for moments. You know what I mean? Like, oh crap! Like, you don't want a situation where, clearly these guys who had plenty of time to, put in these security measures didn't do that. I mean, you literally have a guy who's, got his, was his PhD, Dr. Lehman Baird. He's a scientist, for crying out loud, right? He invented Hashgraph. So I want people to understand that when it comes to Hedera, it's not a blockchain, right? It's Hashgraph. Hashgraph is a totally different type of technology. Compared to traditional blockchain, they have what they call is I think it's called gossip protocol, right? And it's just like as the saying goes. I mean, you explained it you did a really good job, by the way, on that video with the B-roll. Yeah, it was really impressive. Yeah, and I think people recognize that, because like it was short, precise. I think it was like under 5 minutes, and you just hit all the points. But check out. Yeah, you're welcome. Check out Space Chick's video on the introduction to, like what Hedera is all about and so on, because you'll have a broader understanding of the difference between traditional blockchain and Hashgraph. So here's the thing, right? The reason why I'm so impressed with Hedera, for one, if you're going to compare it to like other blockchains, as we know, it's not a blockchain, it's Hashgraph, but if you're going to compare it to other blockchains, is literally probably one of the very fastest ones out there when it comes to transactions per second. Combine that with where we're going, let's face it, whether we like it or not in the future, with green technology. So a lot of people like myself are invested into Algorand. I'm a big fan of Algorand, don't get me wrong, but people say that Algorand's a close second to Hedera.
Really?
In reality, it is not. It's not even. It doesn't even come close at all. So with Hedera, they are the greenest of the green, and a perfect example is like the energy usage of what Bitcoin uses in a year. Hedera is just like, oh my God, it's like not fractions of that, right? It's just the energy it uses, like even in an hour, is just like it's basically almost nothing. So it is literally the greenest of the green. So if you understand how important that is moving forward, then that in itself, you'll understand that that's big. One of the most impressive things about Hedera is their governing council. You have, for instance, and I have a list on here as well, but I mean, like their connections to Dell, Google, Boeing. My buddy, up in the Seattle area, he works for Boeing. But if you're wondering, like, who are they partnered with? You got, Dell Technologies and Hedera Hashgraph. They have that strategic partnership. Basically, it's going to, aim to integrate Hedera's public ledger technology into Dell's suite of products and services. If you're wondering about that particular partnership, basically that aims to provide customers with secure and transparent solutions for DLT. And that's basically where it's at. And on top of that, dApps. Later this year, I'm telling you flat out, dApps, if your project doesn't have enough dApps in itself, decentralized apps, you need it to have that, right? dApps are really, really, in my opinion, going to blast off by the end of this year. That's why I feel as though there's still a lot of money to be made in 2023, even though people state, oh, this is a pump fake or whatever the case be. By the end of this year, there's enough evidence to support that, yeah, dApps should blast off. It's just the concept of that adoption. So all these projects, whether it's Hedera, XDC, you name it, that have been building in a crypto winter / bear market, who got these dApps going on and having that utilized. Again, if we're so excited about utility being used, or pardon my expression, pissed off about Ethereum gas fees, but the key thing is utility being used. So dApps that means utility being used on those particular decentralized apps. Hedera definitely gets it. How about this? The Boeing partnership, right?
Mm.
There's that. How about what is Hashgraph technology? Just in a nutshell, it's the only public ledger in itself that uses this particular technology. That in itself is a unique use case because it's faster, more secure, and it's an alternative, like I mentioned, to blockchain consensus mechanisms. Last but not least, I just want to talk about this real quick because Google is one of the big standout members of the governing council for Hedera. They also operate, listen to this, guys, a Hedera network node. I don't know if you guys knew about this. So that makes the ledger data available in itself for analytics alongside, listen to this, Google Cloud and other public DLT data sets. If that doesn't raise your eyebrows in itself to want to learn more about Hedera, I don't know what will.
I know, just their governing council alone right here. There's so many. I was so impressed because I feel like they've hit every sector that you can in the world, and they're still I mean, no, they're not still growing. Is there 29 or was it 32? I think there's 29 governing council members, if I'm not mistaken. It's up there. But the ones that they have, y'all, Ubisoft, Worlds, IBM caught all of them are great. But I did a video because I want to look at each one of these companies and see exactly what they have to offer, like bring to the table for Hedera. And I'm very impressed. I did an IBM one, and you all know IBM's been around a long time. You were talking about Google Cloud, all that happened, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, the IBM partnership is a real strong partnership. You got to keep in mind, IBM, they're partnered up with Stellar as well, Quant, Hedera, I believe also Casper. Don't sleep on tax. Hey, Matt, is what's that? Mock 'em, talk 'em, right? Make them, take them. It's so good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in the longest time. Maybe it's because our shows, maybe it's too late for you, but I miss you, man. Hopefully you can drop on by again. Good seeing you again.
Look, he says, Max, Teacher of the Year 2023. I agree. Are y'all taking notes? I have a notepad, but I at least get to hit that replay. Y'all can hit that replay as well.
It's too bad that YouTube will do a copyright strike on you, but you said take some notes. That would have been the perfect time to inject some Biggie Smalls where he says, relax and take notes. Anyway.
That would have been great. Oh,
yeah,
man, I need a soundboard. That would be cool. I need to get one.
But YouTube will have a hissy fit. So
they do. They have a hissy fit all the time. I get copyright all the time.
But we can do it at a party. Well, because parties are independent and decentralized. Look at that. Anyway.
Look at this. Twinson really has a question about Monero. He says, Max, thoughts on privacy networks such as Monero? And then we'll switch back to Hedera.
Yeah, so Monero is a very, very underrated, overlooked project, in my opinion. They've done some big things in the the last bull market and so on. I think absolutely it's like it's a pretty darn good price as we speak. I'm gonna pull that up on my own end real quick.
Sure.
You don't, or you can just pull up on CMC. But right now they're sitting at $162. And hold on a second. I don't know if you want to bring that up for just a second. It's just on CMC, but I mean, this project has been around since 2014. So I mean, as the saying goes, it's not going anywhere but where? Up. So, first real significant all-time highs was back in 2017. It was as much as $419. Basically in May of 2021, a lot of projects around that time, right? April, May of 2021 really had big all-time highs. This was up as much as $484. On CMC, they're ranked 25th overall. They do use the was it the secret blockchain, right? That particular contract. It's mineable. It's still proof of work, right? Of course, you mentioned, it's like a privacy coin. And then on top of that, right, you have a circulating supply, which matches the total supply, right? So it's 18,266,185. So when we talk about scarcity, there's that. Now I understand there's no current max supply, and I guess that's where some people had some issues, kind of like also with Casper. People have mentioned that as well. Doesn't have a max supply. I don't like that, but there's no denying this particular thing. I mean, I think it could be really, really huge in the future. My only thing is, it's just like, am I going to put 162 into Monero, or am I going to put under that price into the likes of Quant? And if I have to, of course, pick one, I'm going to go obviously with Quant. But if you're the type of person in which you're like, you know what, I've done enough research on XMR, aka Monero, and I can't blame you. I mean, if anything, maybe you do have like a small handful or a couple of these, it'd be more than fine, in my opinion. Not financial advice, but yeah, this is one that gets brought up on our channel every so often.
I call it Monero.
Oh, that's all right. I call it Monero.
Monero. See, like he says, I mine it. It was my second, and my perspective is from a privacy perspective.
Yeah, if your thing is proof of work still, and let's face it, guys, when it comes to proof of work, you're literally having a community, in my opinion, that represents roughly about 10 million miners worldwide. So that in itself, like,
a lot.
When you hear about, and we cover this, right, since like I think like late last summer. So, you know, those miners that were on, you know, before Ethereum went from proof of work to proof of stake, those miners literally got the memo for a few years, right, stating that eventually Ethereum is going to go from proof of work to proof of stake. So, you know, those guys invested into these ASIC miners. It's just like, all right, so where do they go? Do they jump ship and go to Ethereum Classic and so on? You got to pay attention to when big things like this happen, because miners, they're going to pick a platform to go to. And, you know, you saw price action on various different projects, whether it's Raven Coin, because you don't need to have use, you know, an ASIC miner, or whether it's Monero. But the point is, proof of work is still here to stay, even in the near future, with the whole talk about carbon credits and I guess you could say the downfall of you know, traditional mining. I still think it's going to be here even well to 2030. I mean, if Bitcoin is still going to last, like a lot of people feel that it will, there are going to be different proof of work platforms. I just don't see it going away completely.
Okay. Look, we have another question. ARB is slowly becoming one of my faves. Any thoughts?
Kuchu boy. Yeah, good to see you, Kuchu boy. So are you into Arbitrum by any chance?
No, I haven't. I'm, like I said, I came across your channel, and I've mainly been watching, you know, Quant, Stellar, and Hedera. Those are the main ones that have been keeping me occupied right now. So if you want to dive into that, we can.
Well, here's the thing, right? So I just briefly have been reading up about Arbitrum, so I can't really take too much of a deep dive into it. So I didn't know if he was asking me or he's asking you, but I have been fully aware of it. You know, some of my crypto friends and so on got into it, but it's been consistent since it went on the CMC listing. I think there was even that Coinbase. What was it? You could trade it on Coinbase like roughly like a couple weeks ago. But the thing is the volume, right? Even though it shows that the volume is down 30%, look at that volume right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's an insane amount of volume, even down 30%.
That is a lot of volume. Yeah. So I can't believe it's crazy. Down 30% and it's still pulling that much. That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's got a unique you know, like a unique type of thing that they provide. Look at some of those tags right there. Like, for instance, you go up a little bit, you know, scaling. They have a DAO, decentralized apps, obviously. But just on the surface, like, as you know, I'm sure you get a lot of people like, hey, Space Chick, looking at this, looking at that. It's like 23,000 cryptos, but you got to make like a short list of ones you really potentially maybe do a video on, or whatever the case be. There's only so much time in a day. I mean, you yourself, you said you're a nurse, so you know all too well, like, yeah, there really is only so much time in a day. So
exactly. I wish I could cram it all in my brain. I know people say you can learn when you sleep, but I really, really wish I could remember what I learned when I sleep. That's the difference. Right. Look, short list just to vault. Scottish crypto. Vault Inu Maxi, y'all go check out the meme coin Vault Inu. Do not sleep on that one. A lot of utilities as well. We have 1K viewers. Let's get 1K likes, y'all. Sub to the channel, Mara says. Mara said it. Sub to the channel. Hit that like and hit that bell, y'all. So this is $1.65. All right. All right. Can we hop back to Hedera?
Yeah,
Because
no, I can't blame you. I mean, you cover it on your channel. Why not, right?
yeah, I love Hedera. There's just so much going on with it that I know that H bar bull on Twitter, they cover it a lot, and
Yeah.
I'm talking like they really dive into it. And so let me show y'all that on Twitter because they always pin it. But the Google Cloud was a big deal. Can you tell us a little bit more as to why that's such a big deal for Hedera? I mean, Google, you use Google and anything. Of course, it's going to be an important conversation. But why Google Cloud and Hedera, do you think?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So basically, it's kind of like what I mentioned earlier. I understand there were probably like more people who showed up, or they get earlier. So the reason why it's so important in regards to this whole partnership and so on with Google, the quick gist, all right, is Google Cloud operates a Hedera network node, and that's really really big in itself. They could have chose to go with other different platforms and so on, right?
Mhm.
Or even other DLT, right? And you got to keep in mind when it comes to Hedera, that in itself is their own unique technology with Hashgraph. Hashgraph, like we mentioned before, is not a blockchain, right? Hashgraph is just that Hashgraph, right? But it's a what they call a gossip protocol, just like I let's say I've known Space Chick my whole life, which I haven't, you know what I mean? And if I was her friend, you know, hey girl, did you hear about Mr. Gilbert Verdi and Quant? Yeah, what's going on? Well, I heard Gilbert Verdi is talking over with Mr. Dr. Lehman Baird of Hedera. No, you're not kidding me. Yeah, I heard that they're gonna have some mineable quant. Well, that's not true, right? But
Mhm.
gossip spreads, right? So you got to look at like literally hash graph and that same type of thing. But the key thing is that is a communication that happens like super quick and it just spreads like wildfire. So yeah, in regards to Google Cloud, they also operate with the Hedera network node, and basically in a nutshell, that makes ledger data available for analytics alongside just that Google Cloud and other public DLT data sets. You could say through interoperability and so on. So that's a huge thing. Google Cloud could have chose to go with a different particular platform. They understand when it comes to Hedera's hash graph that look, this is really energy efficient, and as we know, this makes sense because Google announced uh, in the past, right, that they were going to go. I think it's by 2025. Their goal is to be uh, at least 50% carbon free, right, and then I think by 2027, maybe 100%, right, like zero carbon, right.
Mhm.
So why wouldn't you want to go with Hedera? They're the most green of all. They're not even a blockchain, right? But they're the most green of DLT. So that's why that's so huge.
Yeah, I love that they are working with them. It's Hedera's third generation DLT, y'all. The government has recognized them. They've even, gave them a shout out in the World Economic Forum. They're sitting there next to big names in the same sentence. You can't ignore Hedera. You can't ignore HBAR. And HBAR, you can find it on, I got mine on crypto.com. I know that's a centralized exchange. Not everybody is a fan of centralized exchanges, but that's where I got mine. And so if you want to check it out, where to get it, go do your own research on coin market cap and find out where. But if it's on crypto.com, it's pretty much everywhere. Once something hits crypto.com. So yeah, I wish I could find it. See, look at everything they're doing. That's my thing with them as well, is the networking that goes on. They have so many conventions like all week. I swear they're at something every single week, or a couple or a few things. And they even have, this is a big deal in crypto, is if you are on a billboard, or if you're somewhere down there by NASDAQ, if you're on Times Square, so they're in Times Square, London, Amsterdam, and Singapore for Earth Week and throughout the month, because they're green, y'all. I mean, they're fast, they're green. I wish I had that chart. I guess I threw it away after I did my video, but it shows the difference with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hedera. But them doing this advertising and making it, making people see the name and putting it out there, that's very, very good, because you want people to be familiar with what HBAR is also. And I love all the partnerships that they have. I mean, look at that. Look at that, Max.
Oh no, right? It was a Times Square, New York. Yeah, I mean
Ooh,
that's a pretty penny that was spent. Yeah, you know,
that was, I wonder how long they were. That is huge.
that's
That's
also a huge billboard, like a Web3 billboard.
I know, right? Like that is like $5 million. I don't know how much it is, y'all, but that is a lot. I'm gonna retweet that. I like
Yeah.
that the government recognized them even after what happened in March. They still are like, no, this is a great project, and I am glad. We were talking about it a little bit ago how they addressed the issue. I have a video out, y'all, where I listened to the entire space and they all came in. Everybody had a tweet about it on here. Like it was good. I feel like they went to the war room very quick, because they said, oh, everyone's from, all over the world, different time zones, but they did it. They made it work and they fixed it really, really quick.
They did. Another thing I want to mention real quick is that some people they can't fathom when it comes to Hedera. They're like, how can Hedera be proof of work and then at the same time be the most green of green? You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
True.
that doesn't make sense. Well, last night on our show, we actually did a quick 3-minute video, and it's straight from Dr. Lehman Baird in regards to the 5 consensus algorithms of that proof of work for Hedera. If you want, I could share with your audience. It's only about 3
Do it.
minutes.
Yeah, and
All right.
y'all go sub to Max Crypto Talk Now on YouTube. That's where you're getting all this info. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go, Max.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and share that, and
All right,
here we
y'all
go.
ready? Let's see here.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
Some DLTs are based on proof of work. Proof of work is the idea of using a supercomputer, a mining rig that's expensive, to burn lots of electricity, which is expensive, in order to solve a math problem that's totally useless to humanity. But the purpose is to slow you down so that at slower intervals, a miner will solve the problem and be able to add a new block to the chain. And so the blocks come in slowly. Now, occasionally 2 people add a block at the same time, which is a fork. That's a bad thing. And then the community as a whole has to come to an agreement on which of these 2 do we increase and which one do we ignore. And it takes a little while for them to decide which one to continue with and which one to basically chop off. Because it takes a while, we need to make sure they don't start forking too fast. If you forked too fast, you wouldn't be able to chop them off as fast as they're appearing. And that's the reason for the proof of work. The purpose of proof of work is to make you run more slowly so that the community will have time to deal with these forks before the next fork happens. Of course, if the whole point of it is to make us run more slowly, the result is we run more slowly. And we're wasting resources, and the resources are expensive, which means that we will tend to have consolidation of miners down to the few people who can afford the equipment, and consolidation of geography down to the places where electricity is cheap. There are also security problems. What if there is a firewall around a good portion of our people? The firewall is run by maybe someone malicious who decides to turn off the firewall, partitioning us. Could we end up with 2 different chains? Or maliciously manipulates the firewall, turning it on and off in some disruptive way, or letting some packets through and not others. Could we end up with different consensus on each side, 6 confirmations on each side, and then a double spin wouldn't be caught? Or what about fairness? What if you're trying to do something like a stock market where the ordering of the transactions matters? Well, with proof of work, whatever miner puts the transactions in that block can put them in any order that they want, and they can leave some out if they want. And maybe you could bribe them to leave out your rival's transactions. So we don't really have fairness of ordering or fairness of access or even fairness of timestamps. The miner puts a timestamp on the block, but maybe they're lying. or maybe their clock is wrong. You don't really have the whole community weighing in on what time the timestamps should be. So we have some difficulties with firewall attacks. We have some difficulties with fairness of access and ordering and of the timestamps. And then we have the expense and inefficiency of doing the wasted time. But it does work, and it does allow us to have a single chain that whenever it forks, we quickly chop off the forks, and then the chain goes back to being a chain. And that is the proof of work DLT technology.
So there you have it. I saw that Pablo Pro dropped you a super chat, and I think your stream is become vaulted. So you definitely need to recognize some of the Volt Army.
Let me see.
Yeah,
I had closed it out so I could see what was going on. Oh shoot, y'all!
Yeah.
I don't even. Okay, there's over 1K people watching this stream. We got to bring up, and I got to tell you, this is Pablo Crow. Thank you so much for the super chat. Vaulty Eco was just released for the Vault Inu project. Y'all got to go check it out. Meme coin, tons of utilities. I mean, if you see my channel, go down the page. I've been talking about Vault since last year. So many different things, so many different utilities. Vaulty Change, it's a deflationary decentralized exchange. You can help burn 0.25% of every transaction of your favorite project on Vaulty Change. So that's one way that they're changing the space. But Vaulty Eco is coming out. And thank you so much for Pablo Crow with the super chat. And then we have the Vault Army. Oh, shoot. Anytime y'all see this coming. Oh, look, Twinton said, the good old orphan block forking problem. Look at this. Max, I'm telling you, they come in strong. What's up, my friends and family of the Vault Inu?
That's why I said, that's why I told Larry a long time ago. I said, you got to run with this whole thing of, it's the last great meme coin. Because, at any point, like the Volt Army comes in, you cannot be denied one of the most powerful communities out there. Like I mentioned to you, I think at the beginning of your stream tonight, there was that time, was it like 190,000 tweets or something like that in a week? It was more than SHIB and some of the other ones. It's like the Volt community is, you cannot deny them.
I got to pull it up, y'all. Got to do Vault Inu a proper, Max. Got to do Vault Inu a proper.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Y'all go follow Max. We have learned so much today in the Space Cabin, Max. I got to bring you back on. This is insane, y'all. I know you've learned a lot as well, everybody. I hope y'all were taking notes. But Max, this is his Twitter right here. And also go follow Larry on Crypto Talk Now 21. But sub to his channel, Vault Army. Sub to this channel, Vault Army, okay? I love y'all. Y'all will love Max. Y'all love Max. I know y'all do. You've seen me talk about him all the time. Sub to his channel, Vault Army. Show him how many people we can get to sub to his channel. And go, Max, we gotta have a vault, straight up vaulted stream sometime. But I had to talk to you all about this. But this is Vault Inu. Y'all, this is the Vault Inu project. Max, you said something that I like. You said this is the last meme coin that's really going to do something right.
That's what I look at. There's at any given time, Volt can actually trend more than Shiba Inu. And you guys know how well I did with Shiba Inu. Some of you guys do. If it wasn't for Shiba Inu, I wouldn't even be here. You know what I mean? So 8K and 88K, that gave me another big bite of the crypto bug, if you will. But yeah, to see Volt trend like it does, and just a wave of you guys, you call it like a voltage stream, or is your stream volted? It's like a wave, like I used to play like RPGs back in the day, World of Warcraft, for instance. And you go on a raid, you guys literally raid a person's like Telegram, or raid a person's stream, or it's pretty awesome. Yeah,
we do. There's a lot of Vault Army that actually came over because they've seen that. Like a lot of people have seen how they raid, and we raid. And look at Crypto Hound. Vaultoshi delivers. Vaultoshi is the dev, y'all, of Vault Inu, and every single thing he said is going to happen is happening. And he did things which is cool. He, before FTX, that whole debacle happened, he came out with Vaulty Change. Now, I told y'all just a little bit ago about what Vaulty Change is. And then he announced in January that we're going to have staking, global staking. Then we know what happened with Kraken and that whole lawsuit, and, the crackdown was staking. Now Vaulty Eco is out, and it's going to have dealings with AI. So there's something ongoing. They have we have a Vaulted Dragon Sailors Club Island game. It's on Steam now. So if you guys were interested in Doge and Shiba Inu, this is the one to go with, because this is the one that's going to run. It made Meme Coin 2022 Meme Coin of the Year on David Gokhshtein's media entertainment show as well, his award show. I mean, I could keep going. Check out their link tree. It's stacked. Check out all my videos. Max, look at this. Ready?
Sure. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, Pablo, if you're still watching this, I mean, like I was telling Larry, I was like, man, look at this. I saw him. I said, look at this. These guys are literally being interviewed by a lady from NASDAQ.
I'm telling you. That's something else also, y'all. They went to NASDAQ. We had 3 of our community leaders. They were at NASDAQ for like a New Kids on the Block type of segment in December. So they see what's going on. And then we say Congo bullish. There's something going on with that. We have some, fun in the Vault Army. We have some riddles that we try to solve, but they're very short-lived because he always delivers something right after Vaultoshi does. And Game Bangers, I love this dude. He is an in real life friend. Thank you so much, YL. Go sub to his channel. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says you need an NFT to vault it to the max.
Yeah, I saw him as a guest. Was it like a few days ago, like a week ago, something like that? On your stream?
It was last Saturday.
Yeah, I want to comment on that one, but it was one I was listening to on the Bluetooth. So anyway, can't be texting and driving, right? So I was listening to you guys, but I think a long time ago he was on with Larry. I just want to make an announcement real quick. I know you showed Larry earlier. For those of you guys who are of faith, please say a prayer for Larry. He hasn't been on our show for a very long time. He has some real problems with his eyes, and he's at risk of having he says getting MS. So it's a really bad situation. It's his problem behind the eyes and so on. And there's a risk that he could potentially become blind. He's really, I don't know. I've been praying for him. So, I mean, if you're the type of person who's part of the faith, just say a prayer for Larry.
Yeah, let me show y'all Larry's. You know what? Go drop a positive comment, y'all. Go drop a positive comment for Larry, Crypto Talk Now 21. He is an OG in the space. He has helped educate so many of us in this crypto world. Y'all know we are built different. We stick together no matter what project we're in. This is no longer a dog-eat-dog world right now in crypto. We are all sticking together. And so please go give Larry some positive comments and yeah, Crypto Talk Now 21.
And especially you mentioned positive comment. Pablo, if you're still watching, he would always say good things about you. He'd be like, I don't care what anybody says about Pablo Crow. I like that kid, he says. I mean, let's face it, you're not a kid, but you know what I'm saying? Like, once you reach a certain age, everybody's a kid compared to you. But he would always say, he's like, I love that kid. So anyway.
Pablo would like that. Yeah, no, Pablo's cool like that. Pablo Crow show, the Crow effect. I know y'all are seeing this over 1K viewers. I got 1,062 viewers in here. Y'all see the Vault Army going strong. I can't even keep up with the comments. And I gotta make sure I say hi to all of them. I can't be rude. Trust me, I cannot. Smooth. What's up? Okay,
I'm glad somebody mentioned the whole thing about the NASDAQ thing. Let's face it, somebody who doesn't even know about Volt, they saw that's extremely bullish in itself. You want to know more about that project.
You know what? No, you know what? This is cool. Thank you so much, Mara, for the super chat. I actually can pull that up for us. Give me just a second, y'all. If y'all want to see, it's only 5 minutes. Like and sub, y'all. Thanks for such great content, y'all. Do you think Mara's from Texas? Y'all, what's up, Mara? Mara's my in real life friend as well.
Oh, that's super cool.
What's up, Stevie? All right, y'all. This is I gotta Vault Army. I love you. Oh, see, Pablo says love Larry. That's what I'm saying. Pablo's cool like that.
Thank you, Pablo. I'll definitely relay the message to him. We try to keep in touch, but sometimes you can hear the emotion on him. I mean, he's really, really worried about it and so on.
That's scary.
Yeah, like he had a drink in his hand, and he was just like, man, I've been having problems with this, and he almost lost a drink in his hand. So like I'm not trying to make this like a weird moment, but you know, I do
No.
honestly have like a prayer list of people, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
consider Larry like family. Like we talk to each other all the time. Like he's literally like a brother from another mother, as the saying goes. And but yeah, Pablo, I'll definitely pass that to him, let him know about like what you said and so on. So thank you. God bless you,
Yeah.
man.
This is Larry right here, y'all. Go give him look. He's a smart dude talking about ISOs. Good night. Got some smart friends, right, y'all? Got some smart friends here in the space cabin I've been able to pull up. Oh man, that's what I'm saying. We're all in this together, regardless of what project we're in. And we are the face of crypto, y'all. We are the face of crypto. We need mass adoption. So you know what? We got to pray for each other. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world, and you gotta. I hope he feels better. Golly, that's scary. I can't even
Yeah,
imagine.
he's gonna see a doctor in regards to his eyes, I think a couple times. Like he mentioned, I think it was either the 21st or 22nd, but I just really hope that like it's gonna work out and so on. I mean, hopefully he can come on for the 1 year of live streams on Tuesday that we've done 1 year straight, every single day of live streams.
Mhm.
Um, in reality, I mean, it'd be really cool if he could make it, but if he can't, it's understandable.
Aw, Larry, yeah, I would love to have him in here. The last time I talked to him, he was like, "I need to get in the space cabin. I need to be space snapped." I was like, "Dude, heck yeah!" And then I haven't been seeing him, and so that's what's going on.
And it's random. I mean, like, you know, there's times like he mentions like, you know, he'll be good, and other times it's just like, you know, it doesn't seem like much as a streamer, but like, you know, if you're focusing on a lot of text and trying to, you know, like imagine, you know, it's hard to concentrate when you have something like that bothering you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know he liked Vault Inu. He loved when we went in there. I was
I
like,
think he's still wholesome, Vault, to be honest.
oh, I think so. He even has it on his banner. Y'all go sub to Crypto Talk now. And this is Max. Look, he's got Vault over here. I noticed that. I was like, all right,
I,
Larry, I see you. I see you.
I still need it. I probably should get a hold of Pablo or somebody, you know. So before the cutoff time of, I think it was like, maybe was it March or April of 2022? I did send my V1 over to be migrated for the V2, but I didn't get that drop. But it's okay. I mean, I'll get that sorted out. But once I say it, I do hold V2 if, you know, people wondering about that. So
Good.
anyway.
Okay. See, y'all know Max is a smart dude. He's all about utility, and he sees something. And then you brought this up. Vault Inu's interviews with the community leaders. I think everybody should take 4 minutes and 46 seconds out of their day right now to give this a listen. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put my mic
Absolutely.
on mute. One second.
All right, I will too. Your speakers are muted on the output.
Thank you. That's what's always so good, having somebody else with you is,
Yeah, it
you know
is.
what I mean? Because
I've done
then
it a few times. It's okay. It's happened to me.
that's why I'm like, oh shoot. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, this is really, really good.
Deflationary purpose. And with me is Pablo.
Is that okay?
I would turn it up all the way because it's
with
just
Volt,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
I'll just ask questions. You guys
Alright,
kind of
cool.
chime in a little bit if you want. So what separates Volt from some other crypto projects?
Well, first of all,
Right, good.
my honest opinion, as you know, as an investor myself, Volt was created in the bear market, which a lot of projects are created in the bull market, and they have a little pump, right? And by the time the bear market kicks in, they tend to die. So I believe that getting built in the bear market is the most efficient to go long term. Therefore, it separates us from the rest.
Okay, so that kind of gave you, I don't know, some extra incentive to work hard and to build this in a bear market to make sure that you weren't trying to jump on the hype, I guess.
Definitely.
Exactly.
It gives us a lot of time to, especially in a bear market, you have a lot of time to work, a lot of time to build, build, whether it be partnerships, sponsorships, globally, internationally, right? During a bull run, it's very hard to do that because there's a lot of news coming out, there's a lot of information coming out, a lot of investors coming out, so it doesn't give you too much time to act. right? In a bear market, you have a lot of time. You can build, you can reach out to different investors globally, internationally, right? And building our community. When you mention what separates us from other tokens is our community, having a very strong community to push a vision to a level where our developing team wants to see. So it's been really great for us.
Yeah. And what is the strength of Volt?
I would say the strength of Volt to me is really the dynamic and energetic community, right? From since the start, since the beginning, that was the main mission, right? The main mission was to create a community that can be compared to the likes of Bitcoin, right? That can be compared to the likes of Ethereum, Shiba, Doge, because all of those great projects, what they had in common is the fact that they had a backing, support, right? Because with crypto, right, is you can't really compare it to like a stock, for instance, right? Crypto has to be all community driven, right? Everyone has to be entertained, right? In it completely. So I think that's the best thing about Volt.
Is
right?
it a meme coin?
Well, yeah, it
started as a
meme coin.
Yeah, it started like anything. The idea with Volt, the name. Like when I first got involved with Volt, it came out as a Disney doll character, like the Volt dog, right? But the whole point of Volt was because the name was so brandable. Where we're creating a brand. You put a lightning bolt in a Gatorade, you put a lightning bolt in shoes. I mean, Volt is so powerful when it comes to brand. You know what I mean? So it started as a meme coin, but it has become a brand.
Yeah.
And we're taking this brand to the world.
That's right.
Does it have real life utility?
I was just going to touch on that. I mean, the meme coin is how it started off, but the vision was to show the world that the power of retail investors, the power of how a community-driven token can take it to multi-million market caps. At the same time, a meme token can have real-life utilities. For example, paying for your Volt tokens using a credit card, right? Whether converting your crypto to fiat back into your bank account is a little bit tedious. It could take some time. But if you can actually swap your Volt tokens to pay for stuff, a month ago, I was at NYC and I was paying for stuff all throughout the city, buses, taxis, restaurants, bars, using my Volt tokens, right? Just as a credit card as Apple Pay. So there's a lot of utilities that we can use in real life to pay for stuff. We've partnered up with Amazon, Shopify, shopping.io. So it's been great, to use in real life.
Thanks so much, guys, for coming
course.
in and explaining it. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. Love it. I mean, who else is having NASDAQ interviews right now? Also, can I give you a brief, 10, 15 minutes really quick of your time, Max, about Volt?
You can take as much time as you want. I'm here as long as you need me to be here.
Aw.
Glad to be here for the support. You're a great content creator. Like I mentioned, people can see your passion in Space Chick, and I think that's why a lot of people are tuning into you. Because they appreciate your positivity. You don't come across as being a stereotypical stuck-up person or whatever, right? They can see the passion. Go back and watch yourself sometimes. You can see it in your face and how you get it out there. Yeah.
Crypto makes me happy. That's what I want to do. I want to do this 24/7. I want to hit it big like you, Max. That's why I'm learning from a lot from you.
I'm not big yet, but thank you. My thing is, if it wasn't for the 2021 bull market, I wouldn't have been here. And like I said, I mean, for a lot of you guys, you haven't experienced the bull run yet. And that's the key thing. You guys are passionate about, for instance, Volt. You know why you got into Volt. You see something there. You see the NASDAQ interview of, for instance, Pablo and the rest of the crew, and that excites you. You're like, wow, this is mainstream. This is something. We have a powerful community, and here's our, as you guys mentioned, here's our general, right, Mr. Pablo Crow. He's in this particular interview. Yeah. Look at all the blue chip projects. There's not a lot of blue chip projects that even make it on, a NASDAQ interview like that. You have Volt. And some people call it hey man, then that makes Volt, blue chip. Hey, call it whatever you want. so many people or so many projects would kill to be on that particular platform. So it's something to be more than proud of. And you should be passionate about, I always tell like some of my students, be passionate about at least one thing in your life, and people will appreciate that,
Definitely. And Pablo says, stay with whatever you're doing. I'm not going to say it how he says it. He says it perfect. Y'all got to go tune into his show. He's great. Them going to NASDAQ, like you said, extra bullish. And there's some things that have happened in the past 2 weeks, like a partnership with OKX, tier 1, where I know, right? Kind of like what's going on with that. And OKX is extra bullish on Hong Kong. I just put out a video last night, y'all. There was a Bloomberg segment there towards the end of my video. I know it was long, but y'all go check it out. Thank you so much, April, for this. Oh, thank you, April. Awesome live, Space Chick. Gotta love her. She also has a YouTube channel, and we do ladies' night for Vault. So if you are a lady, they are very accepting of females in this community. We have a ladies' night. We get on spaces. It's just really neat, very uplifting community. And it's like none other. But look at this. We have grown in follower count. So it's serious. We're up there. And this was just released last night. And I want to go over Change as well, and this OKX partnership. But give me just a second. There was actually a riddle in here. If you see something within the first 10 seconds, it's a whole thing. Y'all got to check it out. Baltoshi the dev is always delivering. Do y'all hear it?
You might have to share it as a tab because otherwise it won't come across right.
Oh, okay. Let's see here.
Because you use StreamYard like myself, right? I'm pretty sure you do.
Yeah. StreamYard is kind of changed it up a little bit on me. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to share it as a tab, otherwise the sound don't sound right.
Oh, okay. Or is it because I need to mute my mic, maybe, you think?
If you use speakers, yeah, it would come across kind of funky.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Is it big? Let me see. Nope, it's not. Hold on. I got to share it over here. All right, y'all.
Looks like you got another super chat came in. Yeah.
What does he say? What's up? You come a long way, Space Chick. I feel proud. Max, let's join a live soon. DM on Twitter. Oh, shoot. You got an invite to the Crow Show. I know. I love going on Pablo.
I appreciate it, Pablo. Yeah, I'll have to check out that DM and I'll get back with you for sure, man.
Heck yeah. That's cool. Let me see. I might just have to do it like this. Hold on. Let me try, y'all. Y'all stick with me 1 second. Is it okay? It's just music.
Okay, yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so that it says, look, AI powered and automated ecosystem right there. That's something I want to rewind. Look at this. It says, okay, first of all, this is our Vaulted Dragon Sailors Club NFT project right there on the back of the coin, right? So it says Vaulty Eco is ready to vault, and we are expecting this drop to happen on Monday. And then it goes here, multi-million-dollar airdrops to vault. So we're thinking you might have to own one of these NFTs, like the dragons, to take part of this farming. Hold on, let me restart. I think I have too many tabs open. We were talking about Hedera, y'all, Vault Army. We were talking about everything today.
And that's one thing I do like about Volt. It's not that you just have NFTs just to have NFTs. Like you just mentioned, you have to own one of those dragons for this to make sense. That's utility. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing.
And you know what? It's on Steam. Like our game is on Steam. Like how cool is that? And that is like 75% of PC gaming right there in game NFT market.
I've had Steam since day one back in 2004 or something like that. Yep.
Oh, you gotta check out our game. It's cool. I like it. I'm not the best at it. Vault Army knows. Whatever. It's okay. Our NFTs are gonna be playable characters. I have a pink one myself. It's really
Wait,
cute.
what?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You
I have
trying
a
to tell
question.
me that you don't do a no scope 360 headshot from across the map on somebody's head? Oh,
I'm
unbelievable.
practicing. I know I'm practicing, and it's great. The Vault Army, the guys kind of leave me alone a little bit sometimes. Sometimes they'll kill me right off the bat, and I'm a pro spectator the rest of the time, but it's okay.
Right?
I like watching. I'm learning. It's fun. You need to check out our game for real. But this
Yeah,
Vault
I'll download it. I mean, I still have a decent gaming rig, so.
Good, good. Yeah. This Volti Eco is on our phase 5 of our roadmap. I'm going to pull up our roadmap also. It says AI powered and automated ecosystem buyback and burn operations, exclusive farming. So that's why we're thinking it has that Volta Dragon Sailors Club over there on the other side of the coin. Like you said, that's utility right there.
It is. Yep.
And you need that. And I love how Voltoshi's hitting every sector, like the gaming. I really think this is the year for projects to show us, what they have to offer, what more they have to offer, because I know there's some projects out there that just have,
Right.
they're working on their swap. And I'm like, dude, by the time 2023 is over, we're going to have a whole new set of technology, that you're going to have to figure out and start up on.
Speaking of a whole new set, you got a whole new set of ways of vaulted, people up in here. It's got another super chat came on through. So you got some good problems, as I would say on my show.
Oh, nice. What's up, David? Nefty. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Y'all, they come in strong. Look at this community. You cannot doubt this community. Now, Shiba Inu had a strong community. Doge Army had a strong community. And so this is showing you right here in just my stream. I don't know how many subs right now, but I don't have a whole ton of subs. I'm not a big channel. But as you see, they come out and support your girl. They come out and support me. This is my family. These are my friends. Like, really. And I consider you a friend, Max. You're cool. Like,
Thanks. You too. I consider you a friend for sure. Absolutely.
Aw, thanks, David, for the super chat. Look at that. Space Chick hard work and is paying off. Congratulations, gal. Thank you so much, Nefty. I appreciate y'all. But look, they have spaces all the time. Like my friend YL, Game Bangers up here, Volta Twitter space. So they're hitting up Twitter. They have giveaways all the time.
And if I just say something real quick, I mean, that's one of the key things. So, like, at any given moment, you think I don't pay attention to this? I absolutely have. I see another super chat came in. So I want to state this real quick before you click on it. And that is, I recognize things like, whereas, Game Banners doing a Twitter space, another particular person. But the key thing is, this is something I used as an analogy a while back. If your crypto asset has these 3 things, I call it the crypto trifecta. Does it have supply? Does it have demand? And is it trending? If it does those 3 things, I call that the crypto trifecta. And wow, pay attention. And at any given time, over a 24-hour period, you can have something like Game Bangers. You can have, yourself on a morning stream. You have another guy in the afternoon, another guy in the evening, another guy late at night. But it's constantly like fueling that fire, or, volting, as you guys would say, and so on. It's amazing. So
yeah, I know. I'll always ask, like, y'all, we are so spoiled. What other project do you know that we have a morning show, lunch show, afternoon? Then we have Pablo. Then we have, DJ at night. We have them going all day, every day, y'all. If you want to get into a project that it's ongoing, like continuous, this is it. This is the energy you want to be a part of. Yeah, we say you're vaulted. So and we're trending right next to Ripple and BitBoy, like for hours and hours.
That's amazing, because those guys got huge numbers, and if you're trending next to them, that's why I'm saying it's the last great meme coin. I mean, nothing can really touch it. And that's, for me, Shiba Inu was one of my biggest players back in 2021. I'm like, people can, be upset about meme coins, but this might very well be the last great one.
I think it is, with all the utilities that are coming out. Like, how are you going to top that? You can't top Vault Inu. I'm super bullish on Vault Inu, y'all. Jeff, the producer, smash that like button. Thank you so much for the super chat. I see people, and like, these people have been here for a while too. Been watching the channel. They're extra vaulted. Space Chick going vaulted Inu. What is up? Vaultoshi, hard work and pays off. Let's go. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm Vault for life. Space Chick, you always doing an amazing job. Keep vaulting. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, yes, Telegram. If you guys have any question, go into the Telegram. It's 24 hours voice chat, and that's cool because a lot of communities don't have that either. And yeah, I mean, Telegram, that's what they're saying too. Yeah, DJ will be streaming. Volti Eco. Everyone's excited about this AI, and I want to talk about, I mean, you got Rodney, Crypto Journeys. This is something I want to bring up because this is big. We had more volume than crypto.com. We had more volume. We had 28 plus million in 24-hour volume the other day. We had 24, 26,
Wow.
28. Like, all this is happening, and it's like, I hope everybody's looking, and I hope everybody's paying attention, because I feel like people are, talking about Shibarium. I love Shiba Inu, y'all. No disrespect to Shiba Inu, but I really feel like that torch has been passed to Vault Inu, because it says right here, Vault trending on crypto.com ahead of a Vault. We're not even listed on crypto.com yet, but we are expecting that on our face on maybe sometime this year. We're expecting a tier 1 centralized exchange, one of the top tier 1 centralized exchanges here this month. I think it's going to be OKX. We have a partnership with OKX, and they even offered services to us the other day in their Twitter space. They were like, hey, we'll help you with your NFTs, or they said something about, offering services for free. I was like, okay. Tier 1s, first of all, aren't going to just take their time out of their day to talk, partner with just anybody. Then they're not going to just have a Twitter space with just anybody. And they're not going to just offer services to just anybody. And then crypto.com. I mean, what do you think, Max? What do you think?
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, so for me, I witnessed some of the things you're talking about. We have a member of a community, his name is Michael Cornwell, and he's pointed this out multiple times, and that is, numbers don't have emotions. Very, very true. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about this whole thing of, crypto.com and, some of the numbers that you see here and so on, keep in mind, back in 2021, I remember this plain as day. So, I saw the 6 months of sideways trading for, Shiba Inu. But when they landed on that tier 1 exchange of Coinbase, boom. Shortly after that, Shiba Inu took off like crazy. So, for anybody who wants to complain like, oh, Volt is not quite there yet and so on, hey, don't complain about that. If anything, it's not financial advice, but the way I look at it is, the only people who are going to complain about this is the FOMO money coming in after everything blasts off. So that's all you really need. Uh-huh. And man, I mean, just exciting times in the future. And I talk about utility a lot and so on. At the same time, I have recognized that there's a few great meme coins that are still left. Obviously, I still hold Doge. I still hold a lot of Shiba Inu. I hold over 1 billion of that still.
Nice.
It's the way I look at it is that helped me get to where I want to be. I reinvested back into it. But with Volt, the way I look at it is, I don't want to get a lot of meme tokens, but you know what? Volt, there's something there about Volt and the way you guys trend, or the way we trend, because I'm technically part of it too. You can't deny it. I mean, you guys just came in and volted the living heck out of Space Trick Stream, and it's humbling, and it's I guess you could say, I mean, it just makes a person. I'm sure you're blushing a little bit, but
I am. It's pink light, but I'm definitely.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really, and the way you guys embrace community members, whether it's a person that just started like a YouTube or like a Twitter space, whether the person has like 10 followers or 10,000 followers, right? It's the community that's behind it. It's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Valtoshi had come in my chat when I had like 10 people in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was so neat. Like, he takes his time out of his day. It's a team, obviously. I mean, it has to be. There's Twitter is super active. Telegram is super active. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it's him, but I mean, the team of Vault Inu is just impeccable. The marketing, billboards, vaulting all over the globe. In Australia, they even have, advertisements on those Uber drivers, the bags that they have to carry the food in. They have that everywhere. I mean, there's so much marketing. I could go on and on and on, but they even have a widget. Did you know they have a widget? I want to bring up Vaulty Change. I want to show y'all that. And also this widget, if it's a new.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it. Because you know what? The way I look at it is, I mean, we talked about some of the stuff that, I'm into earlier. You have got to, obviously pay respect and homage to this great Volt community you have here that just, You know, remember that joke I mentioned, you know, Back to the Future, right? You need that 1.21 gigawatts in your flux capacitor. Boy, you got to get this thing up to 88 miles an hour. Well, you went to 1,088 miles an hour. You got the most voltage stream in the world right now. So congratulations.
Thank
It's
you.
really, really impressive, space chick.
It's them. This is how they are all the time. I'll go on at 1 in the afternoon. They'll be like, I'm at lunch and I'm listening to you, or I'm on the way to work. I'm listening. Like, I'm telling you, Vault, y'all, Vault. And then these new cryptocurrencies that are coming up. Well, Vaultoshi's, you know, we saw how many cryptocurrencies there are out there, right? And there's more growing by the day. Well, VultiChange supports you can buy XRP on VultiChange as well, but you can add this widget on there. Super simple. Just copy and paste the code and you can put it on your website. And a lot of them are doing that. Over 100 have done it so far. We're listed on over 100 exchanges also, y'all. I had to throw that in there. But yeah, a now available VultiChange, and they're making tweets that's more and more advertisement for Vault. He's doing things that he'll put it in place and it's like money, like streams of income, all different ways. And this is another way he does it, because you can, like Dex tools, you can trend on VultiChange as well. So hold on one second. Let me pull this up.
That last one you had where it showed that Shiba Inu dog.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
want to say that was a cute, one hell of a cute dog. But that's another example. It's just like, even on that particular tweet, if you look at that, I mean, it was got 468 likes. Look at all the retweets. Look at all the engagement, and it's consistently like that. Like, you can have somebody who could have like 10 followers on Twitter, and then out of nowhere, boom, that thing gets retweeted like crazy. Do you know of any other community? I don't. And I cover quite a few different projects, as you guys know. It is really, really something else. That in itself, I mean, to trend like that consistently. I'm just saying this for everybody who's like, oh, there's too much, sideways action. Again, I'll remind you, that is a good thing. It strengthens the asset. Perfect examples of what you saw with Shiba Inu in 2021 from May to all-time highs of that particular time frame. Even for the ones I cover, right? Like the utility ones like XDC and so on. Sideways consolidation. Do not complain about it. Understand that is so good for the asset. So shout out to Volt. That's awesome to see this.
There's so much utility. There's a Vulti card I forgot to tell you about. It's a prepaid Visa card, and it supports XRP. It supports 6 different cryptocurrencies. And y'all, I have a Vaulted trivia night on Sunday with DJ. So go ahead and drop them in the chat. I know Vault Army knows which cryptos does Vulti card support. Go ahead. Go on. I know they're going to do it. Everybody knows. I mean, they're really in tune with what's going on. The Vault Army really, is very, very, very sharp with all of this. But you can get your Vulti card, a physical card and a virtual card. You don't have to dox for the virtual card, but simplify all.
Yeah. I mean, who the heck wants to dox all the way and then all this KYC nonsense? I mean, so that's cool.
Yeah, you have to own 200 million Vault Inu to get the card. That's what you have to do to be eligible for the card. But other than that, I mean, it's kind of helping you with your investment if you think about it.
I want to read this. I'm sorry, Big Jeff.
No, keep going.
I was going to say, I want to read this comment, the last one from Make 'em Take 'em. Again, glad to see you, buddy. He says, you are very busy, space chick. You are very busy. I mean, you got a whole lineup of all, you had, shout out to Mike the Investor for Portland Trailblazers, although, I'm rooting for the Suns tomorrow. That's my second favorite team. Anyway, he's a big Damian Lillard fan. But yeah, you had him on. You have Game Banners. You have, you got NZ. I used to tune in. I still do once in a while if I have the time to do that. But I would listen to Crypto Latina, and she has NZ on the show. So you have a whole lineup of like boom, 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 boom. You're very, very busy. And on top of that, I mean, you're a nurse in real life. I mean, you're killing it. You're killing it. So here's a virtual dab for me in the unofficial metaverse.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been grinding it out. I mean, like I eat, breathe, sleep crypto. This is what I love to do, and hopefully
I noticed that. Yes, I noticed that. And I give you props on that because I mean, I explained my situation where I started. I actually want to hear about like where you came from. You don't have to do it today or whenever you want, but I would like to actually hear that story because you know what? To me, it's like you got bit by the crypto bug, just like I did, but maybe in a different way. And once you get bit by that crypto bug, I mean, some of you guys have not experienced a bull run yet. Like I mentioned, for me, coming up, this will be my second one. There's people way before me experienced maybe 3 or 4, right? But the key is once you get bit by the crypto bug, you cannot shut up about talking about it. And that's why I was like, I transitioned from having a reasonably decent sized gaming YouTube channel, DPG Maximus, covering Call of Duty and Battlefield. I had like over 100,000 views on some of that stuff. But you know what? I was that passion wasn't there as much because I felt like I had to knock out of the park all the time, right? The people expect you to hit a grand slam every time. If you don't do it, they don't watch you as much. But when I made money with crypto and I got bit by that crypto bug, is 10K to 120K, I was talking about crypto all the time with my friends, family, you name it. And then people are like, why don't you just make a YouTube channel? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do just that. So
yes, I know how you feel because I was at work. I'll never forget. And my friend, I couldn't stop talking about it. I was talking about Ethereum at the time. At the time, I had a channel, Girl Talk Stocks, and I was talking about stocks, trying to help, people like, just an average person, like the great women of, homemakers, the ones who stay home with the kids, and trying to help women understand even what a platform was. So that's how I started out, like with that. But then crypto, I saw the tail end of a bull market. I was like, okay, something's up with this. But I was talking to everybody about crypto, and somebody did suggest as well. They're probably tired of hearing me talk about it, is what it was. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it because then at least people will tune in who actually want to know, how I feel or what questions I have and communicate with other people in the crypto space. So yeah, no, I'm glad you made a channel because you've helped us a lot. Shoot, look, David says truth.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you, y'all. Y'all are making me blush. It's the pink light, but really, honestly, I'm pink. Like I'm blushing big time. Y'all are too much. Y'all are so sweet. This Vaulty card though, this is another utility. This came out before that Silicon Valley bank and the bank collapse and all of that. Can you believe he's coming out with this stuff before things are happening? That's what I'm like, how are you doing this, dude? Like who do you know? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's you got connections,
He knows somebody. He knows somebody with a partnership with OKX. Here's the tokenomics, y'all. To check it out, you can get it on Ethereum, Binance, or Polygon. We just got another one. And I want to show you Vaulty Change really quick. It's really user-friendly, but there's something on here I want to show you. There is, hold on, let me see. Okay. All right, yeah, I'm not going to connect my wallet, y'all, but I have videos showing you how to buy Vault Inu on Vaulty Change. But look at this. It's coming soon, but limit orders. That's a big deal. You won't lose money while you sleep anymore. That's what I'm saying. I'm not doing any more Degen plays, at least until this comes out.
Yeah, no, that definitely helps. I mean, think about this, Caroline Ellison. I mean, she obviously never understood the concept of limit orders, right? So it's a good thing to have.
And all these are like the most bullish countries on crypto right now. I mean, I don't know. I love this Lynx crypto app. Shout out to them. It's not a hot wallet. You can check your balance on that as well. Worldwide Crypto, go check out his YouTube channel. But Lynx crypto app, you just copy and paste your wallet address in there and you can see what's, on the Etherscan. You're not having to log into your crypto.com and see how much you have. I like Lynx. All my family has Lynx and all my family has crypto. My mom just asked me a couple weeks ago, how do you buy XRP? My mom has Volt, by the way, in Ethereum and Binance, but she was like, can you help me buy some XRP? I was like, hell yeah, Mom. 78 years old. Can you believe that, Max? 78 years old.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, my dad is actually he's 88. My mom, if she was still alive, she'd be 74, but she passed away about 4 years ago. Yesterday was the 4-year anniversary of her passing away, unfortunately, but I'll see her again someday.
Oh,
Is,
yeah.
is, is the movie Gladiator, that one character, as you would say, but not yet. Not yet. There's still a lot of things I want to do in this life. So.
And you know what? I like, instead of death, I like afterlife. I got to thinking about that the other day. I was like, no, because there is still life after death. So, I know I'll be able to see my sister again. You'll be able to see your mama. You know what I'm saying? It continues.
Absolutely.
That's why we got to be good people here on this earth, y'all. You never know the last time somebody went outside. You never know, like Crypto Empress said, if you're standing next to somebody, you don't know if they're breaking down inside. Be nice to people, be a good person, and don't forget, we are the face of crypto, and we're trying to make a positive change in the world. And so I think the days of people with the whole dog eat dog and crypto projects, I think that's over. I think people have seen it's more than that. It's utility. It's about utility. And so
it definitely is. And when we get that a lot of people refer to the regulatory clarity, that in itself will, as the saying goes, weed out so much of that garbage anyway, because it simply will. It's just like but for people who are complaining about that, that's the key forward for mass adoption. Having insane, overall, you go to CMC and seeing like the market cap just explode. So those are all, great positive things. But yeah, I do agree with you. There's in my opinion, an afterlife. I understand some people don't believe in that, and I understand where you're coming from. But I had this debate, I think, with some family members, this whole concept that we're going to go to heaven and it's just going to be a giant vacation. I don't think necessarily that's where it's at. Obviously, there won't be no pain, no suffering, and stuff like that. But I think we definitely have some new purpose up there, like maybe doing the Lord's work and whatnot. But this whole concept is just like us, a 24/7 vacation, and like my uncle was saying, I'm just going to be up there polishing my Halo. I just don't think that's it.
I think we're going to be busy over there too. We're going to be up to something.
Yeah, absolutely.
We will, definitely. Diamonds and Ruby says, so sorry to hear about your mother. Amen.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I miss her every day. I mean, it's just like, watching like the NBA playoffs, her team was the Phoenix Suns. So on Sunday, I won't be doing as long of a stream as I normally do. So I already let our community know. It's like, once the playoffs, game one is, Suns versus Clippers. Sorry, Clippers fans, I'm not rooting against you. Well, I guess I am. But you know what I mean? So yeah, we're probably only going to do like a 1 hour show, because otherwise I won't be able to watch the whole game. And I don't want to watch no highlights. I want to enjoy part of the game. So anyway.
Yeah, you're always streaming like 5 hours, y'all. If you're just tuning in, go sub to Max at Crypto Talk Now. I mean, he has a wealth of information. I'm talking about Vault Inu, but earlier we were talking about ISOs. We were talking about data. We were talking about all this stuff, all this new tech out in the world. And oh my goodness, it will blow your freaking mind. So he has so many videos out. You got to go check them out. I'm serious. Y'all have to educate yourself and listen. He knows a lot about what's going on in the government too, Max. I'm so glad you do. And y'all, Vault Army, go give him a follow. His follower account should definitely be up, especially after this stream, because I already know how y'all are.
Well, I have to know what's going on in the government and so on. So, I teach, social studies, history, political science, and also obviously business. But yeah, I mean, something I've been following for the longest time for a few years now is the whole Taiwan situation. But there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. Just try to prepare yourself for what's going on. Obviously keep yourself in tune. I will never give you guys financial advice, but I'll state this. It's like, always try to listen to the other side of the debate, whether you don't want to do that, you know what I mean? It keeps yourself more open-minded. So myself, I mean, I always tell people, like, politics and religion are a very, very divisive thing. But, I consider myself more like, I've always been a registered independent type voter. Consider myself like more, middle of the road type person. But like, especially when it comes to news, where it's mainstream news or independent news, like shout out to the guys that was it Redacted. I listen to a lot of their news as well, but I listen to both sides and I try to draw my own conclusion on trying to find just the truth, because a lot of times in this day and age, it's hard to find the truth because there's always that one narrative compared to the other. So, but
I agree.
the Taiwan situation is something that I was lucky to do a 4-week module, a lecture back in when I was subbing for being an instructor at the local college and so on. And it's definitely something that everybody should pay more attention to. It's crazy, by 2027, mainland China, right? The People's Republic of China, because there's technically two Chinas. I don't know if the people knew that. The other China, technically speaking, is Taiwan. They're called the Republic of China. It's a long story, but anyway, yeah, I mean, pay attention to it, because by 2027, their military should be able to be like just take Taiwan by force, and you want to see peace in the region. And obviously, if they were able to take Taiwan, you would see them be able to have access or bully anybody, to a sense, when it comes to those microchips. Who the heck wants to pay like $5,000 just for one, processor, if you will, so on. So it is what it is. It's a crazy situation, but my point is this: micro and macroeconomics, or black swan events, or wars, all those things could affect stocks, crypto, whether we're in the bull market or we're in a bear market. So anyway,
Catalyst, y'all, like we were talking about earlier, crypto is more than a chart, and you got to pay attention. Yeah, it measures past behavior, past human behavior, but I mean, we also didn't see 2020 coming. We also, things are going to happen in our life that have never happened before. So just keep that in mind. TA is cool, but so is opening your mind to listening to everything as well. Both sides, like you said. Both sides.
I saw some comments from your community. Just want to say thank you to DA. Appreciate the kind concerns and thoughts, guys. Appreciate that. And diamonds and rubies. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Diamonds and rubies. That's what. Yeah, she's awesome.
And it was a weird thing, Space Chick. So yesterday, I was having the new air conditioner installed, and I was literally thinking, I was like, man, I really miss my aunt and uncle. I haven't seen them for like at least 6 years. And it's just as like literally an hour after I was thinking about them, they show up. And keep in mind, like, they live 1,400 miles away from me in Portland, Oregon. And they just drive up, and I'm like, what in the world? And I was just like thinking about you guys. And I'm like, yeah, they're like, we couldn't get a hold of you. We don't have your phone number. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have my phone number? I'm like, oh, you have my dad's home phone number. And they're like, yeah, it's like disconnected. I'm like, yeah, he was never using the phone. And so, you know what I mean? Like, you get to that age, I guess you could say, that you stop using like the phone or calling people. So it's like an extra $30 a month for like a home phone. It don't sound like much, but it all adds up, right?
It's weird because my parents cut off theirs too, and I was sad about it because they've had that number for like, I don't know, 40 years. I was like, what? And they said no, it was $30 a month, so just forget it.
Yeah, so I told them, I was like, if people need to get hold of you, I don't mind, giving you my let me use my number and so on. So anyway, but yeah, they showed up out of the blue, and I was just like, oh my God, from Portland. But hey, there's Mike the investor. Hey, Mike, I want to give you a shout out, man. I've been when I was first into crypto, I started watching you, and I always loved how you had the Damian Lillard, was it the bobblehead and so on. So I never heard confirmation. Are you a Blazers fan? Are you from Portland? And if so, man, shout out to you, because that's my number one team. Number two is the Suns because of my mom. RIP to my mom. But yeah, glad to have you here, Mike. I got to catch up on the recorded replay. But yeah, shout out to Mike the Investor. Go give Mike the Investor a follow for crying out loud.
I know. Let's go to his channel. Mike, I guess his ears were burning because we were talking about Mike a little bit ago. Mike, we were saying how, you helped us get into crypto. And so you see two people that sitting on screen that you help teach crypto to. Like, how cool is that? It's because of you why we know, stuff that we know today. So thank you, Mike. Mad love to Mike the Investor, y'all. I mean, amazing dude. Go give him a follow. And yeah, that space cabin with him was amazing. He's got a link tree. I have all his links also in that description as well. But here's his YouTube channel. See, man, this is so cool. Linking up with all y'all. Like, we're all nerds. You know that, right, Max?
Yeah. I remember, Mike, you had like, I think when I was first watching you, you had like maybe I don't know, like 30,000 or 20, something like 29, 30,000. So you really, really continue to blow up. Shout out to you, man. You kept grinding along, doing your thing. Always loved the format that you have. And then on top of that, it's just like my thing is this: I respect people that take deep dives. As the saying goes, do your own research. Mike the Investor. I mean, like I remember when you used to cover DigiBuy a lot.
Remember VeChain?
Yep. And
And
was it for
BitTorrent?
Yep, absolutely. I'm still into BitTorrent. I guess I'm gonna go all the way down with the ship on that one. But
I know. Come on, BitTorrent.
here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? When it comes to that, it's part of the crypto journey. You know what I mean? And so
It is.
but yeah, I mean, I always love like how you explain things and so on, and I still do. So, congratulations to you. And you had that shirt, at least back in the day, that would say future millionaire. And then I remember there was a period, I think it was like 6 months ago or something like that, where it's just you cross it out and you put millionaire. And I was like, oh, that's right. All right. Right on, man. Right on.
Yeah, he's so cool. He's like, oh, y'all are kind. Thank you for the kind words. Hell yeah, Mike.
Oh, okay. Right on. Yeah.
I'm from the Midwest, just a big fan. Okay.
Nice. Yeah. I just, I'm a Blazers fan. I got to respect. If Damian Lillard wanted to leave Portland to go win a championship somewhere, I wouldn't blame him for that anyway.
Oh my goodness. Well, Max, I mean, it's been a great show. I have a live here in just a little bit, so I'm going to get something to eat, and I'm sure you are hungry too. I didn't realize how long we had been on. Oh my goodness, I had so much fun.
I'm used to it. This is considered like this is just a normal time for me because I can really go the late hours, and it's because we try to bat out quite a few things. You know what I mean? Like we try to. If we tag everything, whereas Jasmine, I didn't get a chance to talk to Jasmine. I'll talk about it some other time, but we covered Jasmine, Quant, XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR. That's my number 5. We covered, for instance, Nixera, and a few other particular projects. Obviously, I just mentioned Jasmine, but we try to cover Volt once in a while. Like Larry probably does a better job when he was on covering Volt than I do. But yeah, I mean, how about this, guys? Relio. We covered that at 8 cents a few days after covering that on a deep dive. That thing blasted off over 32 cents. So it was like an easy 4x. You know what I mean? The tokenization of real estate. That's the thing, guys. If you want to do more of your own research, I mean, Volt, don't get me wrong, awesome project. Do not deny the community and so on. But my opinion is I'm diversified in my portfolio. And so you have perfect examples of the tokenization of real estate, the tokenization of anything and everything. And that's the future, flat out.
It is.
But I won't keep you up no more. You're probably going to rush to get your
no. I was pulling up my this one video clip, but I'm going to have to show it to you next time. Y'all, I'm going to have Max in the space cabin again. Maybe we can do it next week or the week after. That would be cool. Oh, I'm going to Denver next week. I'm vaulting Denver next week. So would you like to come in like a couple weeks? Come back to the space cabin?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have to have you on at some point too. And if anything, you should have Mike the Investor on as well. Again, shout out to you, Mike, for being on the space cabin. I love this comment at the bottom from Tim Shea. Max, do you like Quant?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. If it wasn't, here's the thing. If it was, Quant really helped like leapfrog us forward. I mean, and Quant and Jasmine are definitely the ones that stand out for us. Even XLM. I mean, if you cover XLM, like talk about supply and demand, like there's not many stellar XLM content creators, I guess you could say, because it's hard. You really gotta work hard to just come up with something because they don't really put out a lot, you know what I mean? So like you get creative with it, but the people respond to that, like they appreciate it. So it's just like crypto, supply and demand, right? There's a lot of supply and demand for stellar news. So anyway,
I want to learn more about stellar. I'm gonna have to hit that replay on your last live too, because even if I'll learn something. I learn so many things every single time. Like you're such a good teacher too. You break it down, and that's how somebody understands something, when they can break it down very simple and explain it to somebody else. So y'all gotta go sub to Max's channel, Crypto Talk Now. But thank you so, Max, for coming on through. I love you. I think you're great. And I guess I'll see you in a couple weeks then. Everybody will see you in a couple weeks here in the Space Cabin.
Absolutely. Much love back to you, Space Chick, or maybe I could just call you Elizabeth, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so shout out to you, Elizabeth, and the rest of everybody that has joined the very, very crowded. Man, I can't even move around in the space camp. There's so many people up in here, elbowing each other. It's like we got to make some special room for Mike the Investor. And
For sure.
Yeah, and I just want to say also shout out to people who watch CTN, Tim Shea, Coochie Boy, XXI Gaming. He wanted me to give a special shout out to Stratos. Definitely check out Stratos, especially if you understand the concept of data storage, all that stuff. Mike the Investor, what an honor to have you here, even commenting. OG of OGs, as far as the content creator fraternity of brothers and sisters out there.
Yes.
And a Damian Lillard fan, for crying out loud. I just want to give a few shout outs. I want to also thank, I think I saw Coochie Boy in the comments earlier. Also Make Him Take Him. Hope to see you back on our stream again. We miss you, man. And then on top of that, the Crypto Smith, by all means, he's my co-host on Mondays and Wednesdays for Utility Talk Now. If you enjoy us covering like just utility focused projects, XRP, Stellar, we covered some of the FUD that happened obviously with Ethereum. Give him a follow. He is the Space Crypto Smith. He covers a lot of projects that you're into as well. If I left anybody off the list, Eddie T, again, always thank you, man. It's been a great stream. I can't thank you guys enough. And shout out to you, Space Chick. People really love your content. They can see it in your eyes that you're very passionate about this. You're not a BSer, so just keep killing it.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, especially coming from you. And yeah, it was awesome having a legend in here in the Space Cabin. Mike, oh my goodness. Maybe I can get both of y'all on at the same time. That would be great.
You never know. That'd be something else.
Mike, let's go, Mike. All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody. So for tuning in to Space Chick Crypto, hit that sub button, hit that bell, and go follow Max on Crypto Talk Now, and also go follow him on his Twitter at DPG Maximus. All right, everybody, I will see you on the next one. I have a live here in just a couple hours, or an hour and a half maybe, with Passengers NFT collection. So, yep.
I want to state this real quick. Also, us at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific for Crypto Talk Now, each and every day.
Oh, good. Yep. See, y'all go check it out. Look, you just got another sub too. People were saying up there they subbed. Good.
Thanks, DA. Hope to see you. And again, shout out to Mike the Investor, and all you guys have a great weekend.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.